why they mad, cause I'm real and they be faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun toting, Bible reading, God believing, truth speaking American. It's MAGA season, Democrats committing treason. I know they think it's sweet, but you don't know who you dealing with. It's for free thinkers only, you ain't got no membership. They free, General Flint, out the cage, cause he innocent. Barton Roger Stone, cause the run know that he innocent. We need to kick out every single illegal immigrant. Mandatory voter ID laws we need to implement. Tell
My fellow Americans, how exciting this is. Congratulations. Today you receive one of the most priceless gifts ever granted by human hands. You become a citizen of the United States of America. What an honor. It is with great pride and wisdom in so many different ways, because you have such great wisdom, that I welcome you into our national family. No matter where you come from, you now share a home and a heritage with some of the most exceptional heroes, legends, and patriots to ever walk the face of the earth. All of the triumphs and glories of American history now belong to you. You have it in your being. You have it like nobody's had it before. With this sacred honor comes the highest responsibility. As you know, the American way of life is unique in all the world, and as Americans, we must fiercely guard it and defend it. In this country, we believe in hard work and merit system and equality of opportunity. We believe in self-government and the fair and equal and impartial rule of law. And we cherish our liberty and our God-given rights to free speech, free exercise of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. This special American culture is now yours to preserve. Your freedoms are now yours to protect. Our entire nation is now yours to love and to help build, and we trust that you will do a fantastic job and make us very, very proud. Congratulations once again. God bless you, and God bless America.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing all right.
Welcome to the Unrelenting Political Corner. Everybody enter the chat right now so I can see that you're here. We're going to be giving a greeting really shortly. Now, I played that first clip because I saw that on my algorithm. I mean, I already know everybody in the chat knows what's going on right now in America. So people have been posting the reverse side effect of what's going to happen if this continues, right? So it was a cool edit, but it's serious. We got to talk about what's going on. This is serious.
Yeah, we definitely will. We got a lot to get into tonight. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to hash out, a lot to explain. And all I can say, I posted it on my Facebook page, a year or 2 years ago. I said, be prepared for a second round of riots. I posted it. And I mean, even Marcus Julian Watson, I don't know if he's going to show up now or not, but he texted me and I said, Yeah, I said, "Yep, I called this." He's like, "Yeah, Jimmy, you sure did." He said, "You said that this was going to happen," and that's why I've always told people to buckle up because things were getting ready to get a little bit crazier. And y'all have heard me say that. And guess what? Things have gotten crazier. So we're here to explain it, give you some information that the mainstream media won't give you, like we normally do.
Yes. Well, I'm not gonna explain nothing. Jimmy's gonna do the explaining. I'm gonna do all the complaining because we literally just talked about this last week about the whole illegal immigration, and then this pops off.
Yep.
And what are I don't think there's coincidences when it comes to this anymore. We all
No.
kind of know that. But it's summertime. It's
Yeah.
summer. And
Yeah.
how do you know it's summer in America nowadays?
It's riot
When the
season.
riots start. Exactly. Riot season. I'm sorry, but no. I am in the sunshine state, the freest state in the nation. Ain't no riots happening around here.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? What's the problem with these
Oh.
places?
Oh, I can tell you.
Oh, you're gonna tell us. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna go into great details. Just want to say hello to a couple of new users in the chat. Hi to Diana. Greetings from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We also got Justin from Orange County, California. Oh, California. I'm interested in to see what Justin has to say. How do you feel about your state or LA on fire, Justin? How do you feel about that?
I'll just go ahead and let everybody know if you see me eating this evening, it's because I've only had a bowl of cereal for dinner because I was rushing.
Man.
I had a busy day at work today, so I was rushing around trying to get everything together. So I got me a bowl full of grapes and cherries. So if you see me munching on these tonight, you know why.
That is okay. That's fine. Hi to Joseph in the chat. He says, "Hello, everyone. The rebellion has started in the streets of America. The Marxists and socialists and traitors have exposed themselves." And did you catch the thumbnail, Jimmy?
What? For the show tonight?
Yeah. It says
I saw it, but I didn't pay too much attention. But sorry.
Okay. So yeah, it talks about those traitors.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that. We got a lot to uncover tonight.
Yes, we do. Let me see, because I think I posted it on our Facebook page. Oh yeah, let me share once again what our page looks like. So if you use Facebook, definitely look us up. This is the page on Facebook for the Unrelenting Political Corner. And we also have a group so that if you want to share things, you can share it there. We have discussions there. I'd be sharing a bunch of stuff on there. But this is the page for the show. Yeah, it says hang the traitors, expel the invaders. That's the thumbnail that I chose for tonight.
And I want to go ahead and throw a question out for the live chat, just because we're going to cover this. But a yes or a no, please comment. Do you know what a color revolution is? Yes or no? Because we're going to get into that.
Okay, good question. What is a color revolution? Well, I don't know what that is. I've never heard it before. And I know that you shared a video with me and I didn't watch it yet because I want to watch it with you guys. I want to watch it live.
Oh, yeah.
John Marciano says yes. Leonard says no, not really. Justin, I've never heard that before.
Rainbow color.
Illegal immigrant rainbow color. Beverly says yes. Dallas says no. Rosie says no. Looking forward to learn. Okay,
good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
There was a previous comment that I want to. Oh, Slavika. She says this is what happens when you open your borders to illegal immigrants who are criminals, have no respect for the law or God. But I agree. But what I don't agree with this sentence is when she says when you open up your borders. We didn't open up our borders. The government did, or the deep state.
There you
That's
go.
right. So that's what we talk about. The deep
There you
state
go.
is behind the curtains doing this, because you know what I was thinking about, Jimmy? I was thinking about, what if every citizen was deputized at the border to handle the crisis themselves? Would that be allowed?
Oh, if they were deputized, yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
or maybe even less than that. What if they took it upon themselves to protect our own border? Like, what if we all went to the border and protected it ourselves? Would that be
Well,
okay?
unfortunately, I think that's what the deep state wants. They want normal, everyday American citizens out there in the streets, out there, doing stuff, and that's just going to create more issues. Especially when I talk about the color revolution, you'll understand that a little bit more. But I've seen, we saw what Texas did. Texas took over during the Biden administration and tried to protect the border, but they used law enforcement to do that. And technically, yeah, I guess we could, but that protecting our border is the job of the federal government. Us as citizens should not have to worry about that.
Well, that's
So
the problem. I think that's the problem. We got maybe too comfortable or too
yes,
secure with the federal government doing it. And then when they don't do it, we can't do it ourselves because we already gave up that right to do it.
yeah,
Like, that should have been a state's issue. Like, all the southern states that are border states should have kept that to themselves. Like, I don't get it. Well, that's the point. The point is that if you try to do it yourself, you go to jail for protecting your own border, or you get fined or something. So it's not that we don't want to, or we can't, even if we wanted to.
hell, even when we try to protect our homes,
Exactly.
the perpetrator has to be inside your house before you can take any action.
In some states, because in Florida we got the castle laws.
Okay, so you're right. In some, so there's even laws that work against the American citizen when it comes to protecting our own homes in certain
That's the
states.
problem. Exactly. That's the problem that I'm having. So when I see stuff like this happening on the news in LA and the police are overwhelmed, everybody's overwhelmed, who is gonna come help?
Military.
And there's an issue with that too. I agree, but I'm sorry. It's a little tiny bit of an issue when you start bringing in outsiders into states. I understand why, but then there's a power issue. There's a control issue that now you can federalize troops to come into your state and take over, basically.
Yeah, I think when we go through the information tonight, I think you might see that a little bit differently in where that is allowed and when that is allowed. And it's actually been done several times here in the United States already. It happened during Abraham Lincoln. It happened during George Bush the first, when they had the LA riots back then. I actually sent you a clip. I think it's the last one I sent you on the Twitter DMs.
Yeah, I got it.
That showed about George Bush. So, you know what? Why don't you show that one real quick before we get started?
All right.
One is the urgent need to restore order. What followed Wednesday's jury verdict in the Rodney King case was a tragic series of events for the city of Los Angeles. Nearly 4,000 fires, staggering property damage, hundreds of injuries, and the senseless deaths of over 30 people. To restore order right now, there are 3,000 National Guardsmen on duty in the city of Los Angeles. Another 2,200 stand ready to provide immediate support. To supplement this effort, I've taken several additional actions. First, this morning I've ordered the Justice Department to dispatch 1,000 federal riot-trained law enforcement officials to help restore order in Los Angeles, beginning tonight. These officials include FBI SWAT teams, special riot control units of the U.S. Marshals Service, the Border Patrol, and other federal law enforcement agencies. Second, another 1,000 federal law enforcement officials are on standby alert should they be needed. Third, early today, I directed 3,000 members of the 7th Infantry and 1,500 Marines to stand by at El Toro Air Station, California. Tonight, at the request of the governor and the mayor, I have committed these troops to help restore order. I am also federalizing the National Guard, and I'm instructing General Colin Powell to place all those troops under a central command.
So my question for everybody is this. First off, do you remember the speech that he gave after that verdict with the Rodney King trial? Do you remember that? Two, did the mainstream media paint Bush, even though he is a freaking traitor, but that's a whole different story. But did they paint him as a dictator or an authoritative king? Did they do that? Did Hollywood do that? No, they didn't. And did he do something that was in violation of USC code or the Constitution? No, in that situation, he did not.
Mm-hmm.
So everything he did, everything he did was legit and was by the book when it came to that, calling up the troops and federalizing and doing all that. So I wanted that to be played so that people could see the stark difference in the narrative that's being pushed out about Trump and the military.
Right. And they've always said this about Trump, that he's always overstepped, that he's unhinged. They try to make him seem out to be some guy who can't control his emotions or whatever. But go ahead.
Go to my Facebook page real quick.
Yep.
There's been a lot this week, guys. So we're going to be bouncing around a lot tonight. So, and of course, in about 10 minutes, I got to say bye to my wife. So,
yeah. Okay.
But I want to make a point to that.
Okay. Here goes Jimmy's Facebook page.
Go down until you see a lot of little lines in color and lie. And it says lie, 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 lie. And there's a lot of stuff.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, pull that up. Now, the reason I saw this post the other day, and it actually, goes back to the vaccines and all that crap. But Can you read that, Ruby? Because it's too small for me.
Sure. It says, stay home, save lives was a lie. We're in this together was a lie. 2 weeks to slow the spread was a lie. Masks help prevent the spread was a lie. Super spreader events was a lie. The vaccine is a dead end for COVID was a lie. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccines was a lie. Excuse me. Breakthrough cases are rare was a lie. The shot is 100% effective was a lie. Only 2 shots to get your life back was a lie. You just need to get the 3rd one was a lie. The 4th one offers the most protection was a lie. 1 million people died of COVID was a lie. Pandemic of the unvaccinated was a lie. Winter of severe illness and death was a lie. Nobody was forced to take it is a lie. The vaccines saved millions is a lie. Nobody is injured or dying from the shot is a lie.
So the point of that post is this. You're hearing a lot of stuff that the media is telling you right now.
Mm-hmm.
It baffles me why people still listen to the narrative that the mainstream media puts out. We just proved to you that they just lie, 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 lie. So how can you put any stock into what they're saying now about anything?
Is because they don't care if it's the truth or a lie. They believed all of those statements, whether or not it was true. They believed that it saved lives. They believed that the unvaccinated were super spreaders, or that this was a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
When you say they, who are you referring to?
Like, normies, people who believe everything they see on the TV. So
right, okay.
Leave it, whether or not it's true or false, because till this day, you will see people who still have an issue with saying those things, or even
Yeah,
wearing a mask in 2025.
and there's still Jehovah's Witnesses waiting to hug their little pandas in the new paradise.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's a very sad that they still believe it regardless of the truth, because they don't care about the truth. And that's
Right.
when you don't argue with them. You don't even I wouldn't even bring it up. But to the ones who are out of the matrix, the ones who are awake, we see this happening on TV or the news or whatever, right? And I'm thinking to myself, this is the fault of that governor. Isn't it the governor's job to invoke the National Guard? Like, why does Trump even have to do that? Why isn't the governor doing that?
Yeah. Good questions. But they want it to happen. This is the reason why.
To me, I feel like they're forcing his hand too, so that he can look like what they want him to look like. Because they're gonna say it anyways. Gavin Newsom has already been talking crap on Twitter about Trump.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
like, well, why didn't you do it as the governor? Why didn't you bring the National Guard for your own burning city? Like, what is that?
Yep. We're gonna get once my wife takes off here, we're gonna dive deep into this stuff. So she should be getting ready to leave here soon. Yeah, there's so much at play here. There really is. And I put it on my Facebook page this week. I said, I'm just sitting here smiling and watching all this happen while everybody else is freaking out, because this is stuff that we have said for years to watch out for. And I put it on. Go to my Facebook page. I put a list of cities too. Watch these cities over the next, starting with last week, over the next couple of weeks. Watch these cities, because I can guarantee you there's going to be stuff popping off in those cities.
Yeah, I've seen that list before, but to me, it just looks like every major city, which is almost like every Hollywood movie once again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I told you we were watching a movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it feels like it now. Like it didn't feel like that before, but it feels like it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the feeling that I've had for like 4 years.
Yeah, and it's very upsetting because it's like they're letting it happen on purpose.
Well, like I said, you got two factions fighting against each other, and they're trying to win over the minds of the American people. That's what's going on right now. And you think about this, what you're seeing here in the United States. Let's pretend that all of us got together with another, 3,000 U.S. citizens. And let's say we all went down to Guadalajara and started riding in the streets and waving our American flags and saying death to Mexico. Or you could do that with any other country. Try doing that in China. Go do that in Russia. What would those countries do to you if you did that?
Arrest you immediately, or worse, put you in a concentration camp.
Yeah, it would be bad. But yeah, here in America, we can't do anything to these people.
Exactly. They want us in a civil war or something, because they know that people are going to get super emotional about it. And this is exactly why I probably would never go to California. I would never go back to New York. I would never go back to these states that allowed this to happen. I probably would only stay in the South.
Yeah. As of right now, yeah, I agree with that.
But I wouldn't even bother traveling to a place when I know this, because if I go over there and something bad happens, it's my fault, because I knew this and I should have not been over there.
So if they want to start a civil war here in the United States, what would that accomplish for them?
That 16-year plan, at least the outcome of it, because that's what they want. Yeah, exactly. And they don't even have to go through all those steps. It would be like a speed dial right to the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything would be suspended if there's another civil war again.
Yeah, well, I've been telling folks, and I stand by it, there won't be a civil war. It'll look like one. They'll try to make it look like that, but that's not going to happen because they literally want, you know, Constitution loving patriots, people who love America. They want us out in the streets. They wanted it during the BLM riots. And
Exactly.
we've got several videos. I kind of blew up Ruby's DMs and Twitter today or the last couple of days because we have a lot of clips we want to play too, talking
Oh
about
yeah.
this. So give me a second. Let me go in here and say bye to my wife, and I'll be right back.
All right. So we're gonna wait for Jimmy to come back. In the meantime, I have this little funny clip that I wanted to show everybody about the Trump versus Elon Twitter war that recently happened. So if you don't know anything about that, let me know in the chat right now because I think it's hilarious. Jimmy thinks it's fake and all made up, but we're gonna talk about it. I just clicked the wrong button. Hold on, guys. Okay, got you. Watch this funny clip.
What's going on?
What the fucking fuck? That's exactly how the internet was about a week ago with the whole Trump and Elon fight that happened on X. Let me know if you know about that because I'm definitely gonna talk about it. Let me see your guys' comments. Kim says, I think Trump and Elon are making up. Not sure. I don't know. We're definitely gonna talk about it. Justin is laughing in the chat. Tony, yup, that's how it was, right? Steen one says everything in history is worse than what's happening now. A few wrong pronouns and the city is on fire. Yup, that's exactly how it is, man. Jane says they are still upset with each other. All right, good one, Jane. All right, so let me see if I have something else here. I have a bunch of clips of what the riots looked like these past couple of days, and I want to do a kind of like a test and ask you guys what is protest versus a riot, right? Because I saw one of my Florida sheriffs did a press conference recently, and he talked about like what the differences are to help people understand. This is what a riot looks like, and this is what a protest looks like. So I want to play that clip for you guys in a minute. Becky says, Ruby, maybe they should go outside and pull each other's pigtails. Yeah, but we're gonna talk about that theory about Elon's presence from the very beginning. I have my own theory, so I'm gonna share it in a minute as soon as we're done with the news stuff. Kat says paid rioters. Exactly. I believe that more now than ever, especially after the 2020 riots. And Jimmy sent me he sent me a video of this guy driving down the streets, and there was these flyers all over the streets, and I'm going to show you what the flyers said. It's crazy. Let's see. Jane says, Ruby, I heard all these terms for illegal and so confused. Oh yeah, what do you mean, Jane? Let me know what you mean. Joseph says 5150 Police Code is another protest group for this weekend. Becky says it's just so schoolyard. Yeah, but I don't think I ever trusted Elon to begin with, but we're gonna definitely dive into that. Oh, then I wrote in the title about the travel ban. Did you guys hear about that partial travel ban? We're gonna talk about it. Hold on. I think I had a list of all the countries. I think it was like 12 countries and 20 nations, I think it was. Let me see. I'm checking our Facebook page. Oh, I'll share my screen. Hold on, guys. Oh, Jimmy's back.
Sorry, y'all.
Good, you're back. I was just describing some of the stuff we're going to be talking about in a minute. Oh, and did you see Trump's new portrait? I forgot to mention this last week.
No, I think you did mention it. We just didn't see it.
Yeah, so this is the new portrait.
He's good. Cool. I like it. It's a serious
I think it's a little softer than the first one. The first one was really hardcore. Like, you got the vibe he meant business.
Oh yeah.
This one is kind of like, I still mean business, but I'm a little soft with it now. Like, I don't know, the eyes are a little soft, nicer in the eyes. I could see the softness.
It's more of a, to me, it was more of a, so you guys have effed around, now you're just going to find out. That's the kind of look he gave me.
Ah, okay.
All right.
Okay. I see everybody's comments. Okay, Jimmy, so do you want to start the news?
Let's go ahead and do the news blast, get that out of the way, because it just recaps. I think Enoch only did like Tuesday and Wednesday last week. So let's do that first, and then we're going to dive into the color revolution. We're going to dive into what the United States Code says about federalizing military, mobilizing military. We got a lot. We got a lot to talk about. So let's do the news first, real quick.
All right, let's roll the clip. All right, everybody. Welcome to the News Blast with Jimmy Bell on the Unrelenting Political Corner, reporting from North Carolina. Thank you, Jimmy Bell. Go right ahead. What do you have for us?
Welcome back to the cage, everyone. And this week's topics are going to be a little shorter than normal. So let's get right into it, because I know we all want to talk about what's going on in America over the last 3 or 4 days. So let's go back to Tuesday, June 3rd. Yeah, we ain't even mentioned this part, but we'll talk about it too. Elon Musk calls Trump agenda bill disgusting abomination.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to talk about the huge fight that they had on the internet a couple days ago.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Right, because you already know how Jimmy thinks. Yep.
Yep. All right. Texas man arrested and accused of trespassing at Mar-a-Lago told police he wanted to marry Kai.
Oh, my. I think I did hear about that. Man, mental illness is rampant.
Yes. White House criticizes GOP senators worried about national debt. Trump ratchets up steel tariffs to 50%. FDA's AI tool for medical devices struggle with simple tasks. Meta strikes 20-year nuclear power deal with Constellation Energy. I thought nuclear was bad. Ukraine claims new underwater bomb attack on Russian Crimea bridge. They did that. Ukraine, Gaza aid distribution paused for 24 hours after deadly shooting. 3 missing girls found. Oh, yeah, sorry. I put them together. So let me repeat. Gaza aid distribution paused for 24 hours after deadly shooting. The next story, 3 missing girls found dead in Washington State. Father suspected of killing them and still at large.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I did too.
That was crazy. And the mom too, right?
I'm not sure about the mom, but I know that the 3 little girls were killed. I do know that.
Oh, wow. That's sad. Yeah.
Yeah. Justice Department charges California man with threatening to kill Trump on Facebook. Navy will rename the USNS Harvey Milk. So they're going to rename one of the ships. I heard something about that. I can't remember who they said it was named after. I can't remember. Oh, remember last week when I said I couldn't remember when we were talking about Joe Biden, and I couldn't remember the name of that one actor?
Yeah.
Okay. His name is Arthur Roberts. So look him up while I finish the last two parts of the news for Tuesday.
Arthur Roberts.
200. Oh, wow. 200-year-old condom decorated with erotic art goes on display. What? A 200-year-old condom. Okay. Wow. 26-year-old Romanian pleaded guilty to orchestrating over 75 swatting events targeting U.S. officials. So that was Tuesday of last week. Find that picture?
I did a couple of them. Let's see.
I just wanted to, it's kind of off track a little bit, but it hit me. So this was one of the guys said to be allegedly was one of the ones playing Joe Biden. He's an actor in England.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put that out there since I forgot what his name was last week. So anyway, y'all can go look him up, Arthur Roberts. All right, so let's go into Wednesday. Thank you for pulling that up, Ruby. Let's go into Wednesday, June 4th. This is the last one for the News Blast this week. Physicists observe a new form of magnetism. Trump restricts international students from studying at Harvard. And we talked about that last week with Harvard being a breeding ground for known Marxists and socialists. Elon Musk rallies voters to kill the president's signature tax bill. Trump orders investigation into Biden aides for alleged health conspiracy and auto pen use. I heard you talk about this a second ago. Trump announces travel ban on 12 countries and partial restrictions for 7 others.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that. Why did he do that?
There's a reason. Trump says he had a good call with Putin, but peace not imminent or immediate. Trump warns Putin will seek revenge for Ukraine drone attack. And we haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about Russia retaliating yet. Hell, they might be doing it now, and the media is not even covering it because we got all this crap going on.
Of course, yeah, that's the distraction.
Yeah, that could be happening. We don't know. Trump's promised steel and aluminum tariffs go into effect. Good. Man charged with supplying chemicals in Palm Springs fertility clinic bombing. CDC official overseeing COVID-19 vax recommendations resigns. So another CDC official resigning over the whole CV crap. House Oversight Chair James Comer expands inquiry into Biden's fitness while in office. Trump administration ending TSA's Quiet Skies traveler surveillance program. I need to look that one up because I'm not sure exactly what Quiet Skies is. Ending TSA's Quiet Skies. Okay, yeah, I need to look that up. Let me make a note there. I gotta look that up. Canadian wildfires prompt air quality alerts across 5 U.S. states. And FBI discovers cache of guns, armor, and Nazi paraphernalia while raiding home in Delaware. Wonderful. Okay. So that, like I said, it's a short news blast this week because Enoch apparently had a thing. He lives in Michigan. He had an event scheduled in Georgia, and it took all his time. So, yeah, he'll be back next week. So we'll have more news next week on that.
All right. So that name that you mentioned, just wanted to share it. Harvey Milk, he's an American politician and civil rights activist. He was the first openly gay man to be elected to public office in California, serving as a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. So despite his short tenure, Milk made a significant contribution to the LGBTQ rights movement in the late 1970s. So they are naming a ship after him.
No, they're going to rename a ship.
Okay, so they're going to rename a ship after him.
Can we look that up? I want to double check because what I heard was they're going to rename the ship away from him.
Yes, rename. Confirmed.
Okay. That is
Yeah, right
confirmed.
here from CBS News. Navy set to rename USNS. So hold on. I got to click the link. Okay, USNS Harvey Milk Mole's new names for ships named for other leaders.
Okay. All right. So they're going to change it. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to change it.
Okay.
I wonder why they chose him.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get up with my sources this week or keep up with. I've been so freaking busy building a catio, tearing down a tree that fell, and I had to fix. Yeah, it's been a busy week. So, but folks
Okay.
can look this. They can look this stuff up on their own as well. So, guys, that's the news. What we have just for that. So we're going to get into everything else. The whole Trump Elon thing. What you want to go ahead and talk about that?
Oh yes. So do we want to move swiftly right into the
Conspiracy?
Yeah,
Let's
conspiracy
go. Let's go
theories.
way early. This
Yeah.
is okay. Y'all are witnessing history here. This is the earliest that we're jumping into the conspiracy side of things. So, but there's a lot to talk about.
Yep.
Let's go.
Okay. I always giggle when I see you in backstage, like bobbing your head to the music of the. It always makes me giggle.
Well, I was sitting here thinking too, I may not have popcorn that I'm eating right now, but I'm definitely sitting back and then I'm enjoying the show.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get into the LA riots a little bit more. Trump versus Elon this week happened. The partial travel ban and why Trump did that. And then I threw in Greta Thunberg in there because she made headlines this week as well.
I heard something about that briefly, but I don't even know the story.
Yeah. And I'm gonna play this video for you one more time because you didn't see it while you were gone. But this is how the internet was when that fight was going on.
Step brother.
What the fucking fuck? I love that movie. So when I saw that edit, I was like, that's exactly what's going on. The whole internet was on fire. Everybody all of a sudden had an opinion about it. And I already knew. I was like, what? I even tagged you on that tweet too. I said, what is happening right now that is so big that they want to distract us so much that they decided to have some Twitter fingers all of a sudden and start disagreeing with one another this week out of all weeks?
Well, I really do think that this was designed in a way to flush out more people that might say that they're for MAGA or for America. I think this flushed a lot of people out because it especially happened, in the digital soldier world, truther community, you want to say, that's been infiltrated too. There's people that I listened to in 2020 and 2021. And then once I learned more about them, I quit listening to them because they were what we call a patriot, P-A-Y. They did whatever they needed to do to make money. And so they kind of infiltrated the truther community, if you will. So I think this exposed a lot of them. And it also, if you're a Democrat, what are you thinking? A month ago, you were not you folks personally, but the Democrats themselves and liberals, they were out keying Teslas. Oh,
Right.
bad Musk. And then now he comes out with this
They
alleged,
flip sides so fast. There is
yeah,
no loyalty in that party. I
yeah,
don't see it. I don't
yeah,
see that. They are only loyal to the paper, to the money, to whoever's paying them. In
yeah,
my opinion. Now, I don't want to sound like I know it all. So if there is anybody in the chat who is registered Democrat and wants to comment on that,
yeah,
please
please.
do so
Yeah. How
and
do you
let us
feel?
know.
I mean, because
Yeah.
you were quick to demonize Elon,
Mhm.
but now that he's, gone against Trump, now you're like all for Elon. So please help us make that make sense. For me, well, let me just grape.
Yeah, don't choke. That's all we need.
Sorry. So for me, I think that this whole thing is
Mhm.
fabricated.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Ruby,
Mhm.
you want to piss off our trolls and our
Yeah.
haters? Let's start fighting. Let's just start calling each other names and how horrible your show is and this and that. Let's give people something to talk about. As Bonnie Raitt said, let's give them something to talk about.
Yeah, but it also kind of makes me a little worried because it might be bigger and more important things that they're trying to hide.
Yeah, look how quick that came out. I mean, no one's talking about that right now.
Uh-huh. So you see, Thrifty says they are distracting from the executive order Trump signed to increase federal power by allowing DHS to contract state and local law enforcement to take on some of the work of ICE. I mean, I did hear about that even
Yeah,
before this
I get
went
that.
down, but even more so is the big beautiful bill that everybody has been complaining about. And when I looked a little bit more into it, it was because of that Plantier thing, which is like an AI surveillance company or collection, something to that effect,
Hmm.
that bill that people were in disagreement with. So now I understand
Yeah,
why people were
the
against
whole
it.
Plantier thing, that company Plantier, I don't trust
Mhm.
that one bit.
Right.
Um, Peter Thiel, not a fan of his. And like
Mhm.
I've said before, I've never been able to put my finger on Elon. You know, we talk about white hats, black hats. I don't know if he's a gray one. He's a gray hat. I don't know where to put him at. So I don't talk about him too much. I just sit back and watch what's happening.
Yeah. So I like this comment. James says martial law is coming, not allowed protesting, I bet. Well, that's what I want to do. I want to show you a couple clips and you let me know if this is a protest or if it's a riot. So here's one clip that I got from X. What does that look like to you guys in the chat? Let me know. How do you guys feel when you see this happening in America?
Yeah.
All right. So that's one. I don't see no signs of protesting. All I see are Mexican flags, cars on fire. But then I also see that scarf. And I
Hmm.
think that is in reference to Palestine.
I think so too. Yes.
I don't get that either. But let's show another clip.
Police are now pepper spraying. They're throwing stuff out here in the streets. They're blocking eyes, blocking the FBI from coming through.
Okay. So Steen says not quite a riot, but unlawful.
Yeah. And what's funny is look how the media is portraying it. They're saying this is mostly peaceful. These are peaceful protests. Our eyes are telling us a completely different story. I mean, you go back to even when the BLM riots happened, you had Jerry Nadler, a sitting member of Congress, who was saying, "Oh, this is just an illusion." He
Mm-hmm.
said that the riots back then were just an illusion, that it wasn't really happening. He said it. It's on videotape.
That's gaslighting. That's textbook gaslighting
Yeah.
people.
So that's what the media is doing right now. They are gaslighting the American public by saying, "Oh, these are just peaceful protests."
Oh, I got a clip for you. I got a recent clip of that being said.
We are having
Okay.
an administration that's targeting peaceful protests, people that are there to protest. The president is sending the National Guard because he doesn't like the scenes. He doesn't like the scenes of people peacefully protesting. We are having an administration that's
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Like
Wow.
they're still gonna use that. They're still gonna. I'm shocked that they're still gonna use the peaceful protesting phrase when they are talking about a literal riot.
So
All
let's
right.
go ahead. Let's go ahead and create a backstory. I really need to. I sent, and then I can explain this, and then we can go into that clip that I sent you about the color revolution. We really need to talk about this, and we really need to educate folks on what a color revolution is and how it is a tool for the globalist, deep state, elite, whatever the hell you want to call them, to exert their control and power over certain countries. You know, over the last 30, 40 years, how many countries have you heard in the news that were overthrown or there was regime change? And, you know, why did that happen? So I pulled this. This is a spot we did on the big picture. And we talked about this then. So again, I pulled the information from Wikipedia, trying to be sensitive to the folks out there that say, "Oh, you're just getting this from right-wing material."
Yep.
So let's explain what a color revolution is. Color revolution is a term used since around 2004 by worldwide media to describe various anti-regime protest movements and accompanying, attempted or successful, changes of government that took place in post-Soviet Eurasia during the early 21st century, namely countries of the former Soviet Union, the former Yugoslavia, and People's Republic of China. The term has also been more widely applied to several other revolutions elsewhere, including in the Middle East, the Asian Pacific region, and South America, dating from the late 80s to the 2020s. Some observers, such as Justin Raimondo and Michael Lynn, have called the events a revolutionary wave, the origins of which can be traced back to the 1986 People Power Revolution, also known as the Yellow Revolution in the Philippines. Some of these movements have had a measure of success. In the early 2000s, for example, the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia's Bulldozer Revolution, Georgia's Roses Revolution in 2003, Ukraine's Orange Revolution in 2004, and Kazakhstan's Tulip Revolution in 2005. Have any of y'all heard of these things? Have you heard about these?
No.
In most, but not all cases, massive street protests followed, disputed elections, or demands for fair elections. They led to the resignation or overthrow of leaders regarded by their opponents as authoritarian. Some events have been called color revolutions, but differ from the above cases in certain basic characteristics, including such examples as Lebanon's Cedar Revolution in 2005 and Kuwait's Blue Revolution in 2005. Russia, China, and Vietnam share the view that color revolutions are the product of machinations by the United States and other Western powers, which that would be deep state players, and pose a vital threat to their public and national security. So that's just the basic definition of what it is. Now, how it works is what they do is they get people all riled up, okay? They get over an election or a leader and a law or whatever. They get people all riled up. These people hit the streets to protest. So now you got the people of these said countries in these streets protesting. Now, some could be legit peaceful protesters, but what they do is they infiltrate those protests with their little foot soldiers to start creating chaos, setting fires, attacking law enforcement. And so when those people start attacking law enforcement, then law enforcement in these other countries, and we've seen videos of it, they start firing back. And then the media goes, oh my God, look, the government is firing on the innocent people, the innocent protesters.
Right. Yep.
And so now everybody that doesn't know what's going on is like, oh my God, that's horrible that that government is doing that. Wow, we need to get rid of them. We need to have regime change. And this is the tool that the deep state uses to be able to take once the people get that person out of power, then they bring in their little puppet and they take over the country.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing right now.
But this smells like the CIA.
Oh,
Like,
CIA is
that, yeah, like, isn't that their job, kind of? They go into other countries and they do that.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's been a lot of regime change because of the CIA. So, CIA has been involved, at least portions of the CIA, the corrupt parts, they're definitely involved in it.
Oh, so you don't think that they're corrupt 100%?
I don't think any organization is corrupt 100%. And the reason why I say that, the reason why I say that is because what these people have done, what these elites have done, is they've infiltrated the top of the organizations. So
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So let's say, for example, let's just take the FBI. If you infiltrate the top of the FBI, the director, the deputy director, all the in a company, the president, the vice president, the treasury, the secretary, you infiltrate all that. Then the people below, they're going to disagree with what the upper management's doing, but they're still going to do what the upper management says because they want to keep their jobs.
I understand that theory, but if we think a little bit further out in the bigger picture, right? The whole premise of the institution itself, in my opinion, is wrong. It's corrupt to begin with.
I'll agree with that. And yes, like the United Nations. I don't agree with that organization one bit. The Red Cross. There's a lot of there's organizations that have been set up just to allow the criminal activity to happen. I will agree with that. But
in my brain, I think all of them are.
Gotcha.
Like,
okay.
And it's every single one of them, even the ones that disguise themselves as like trying to protect us, like the FDA, like the CDC, like even those organizations. To me, no, like,
gotcha.
It's too easy for corruption to slip in.
That's true. That's true.
And I also believe that they were instituted to control us, to poison us straight from them, because they disguise themselves as trying to protect us.
Well, how long has the World Health Organization? No, it was the other one. Crap.
Which one?
Crap. Which one was they said they've been creating vaccines for 125 years. Was it the CDC or the FDA? I don't even think it was one of those. But anyway,
we could check it. CDC.
Yeah. When has Big Pharma been? Big Pharma's been around for a long time. Have they over 100 years? Are we more healthy because of Big Pharma? No. Why haven't they found a cure for so many different diseases? You've been on this stuff for years, decades, and we got nothing.
Okay. So, for example, the CDC started in 1946.
Okay. And
The
what has happened to our foods over the years, or the diseases? They've gotten worse.
Yeah, or I mean, I don't care which organization. It's all of them, in my opinion. They should all be
Yeah,
gone.
I can see.
Um,
Yeah, I can see why someone says that, but on the other hand, I would say, yeah, there are good people that work for the FBI, even though and there are good people that are in the CDC that actually care about health. Maybe, but I don't lump
yeah,
everything.
but at the end of the day, everything's for a paycheck.
Correct. That's true.
So come on, guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm too cynical, or maybe I'm too distrusting. Maybe I don't know what it is, but for me, I don't like none of it. None of it. Like, we should go back to a type of individualism, and I did talk about this last Tuesday, but like, you shouldn't need any organization telling you what to do, what not to do. You should just have like a village life. You should be growing your own food. You should be teaching your own kids. You don't need no system, even if it's a good one that claims it's for our benefit. No, like, the only system that I would probably agree with is like the sheriff's office. That's about it.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
a local sheriff.
what did Ronald Reagan say were the 8 most fearful words? Hi, we're from the government and we're here to help you.
Exactly. And all of these institutions are from the government.
Yes.
It
So,
it's like, oh my goodness, it's just ugh. But before we go into that video, I just wanted to show you what the okay, so now we see the difference between the videos that I just showed you, right? Those are not protests. Can we all agree? We can all agree that those are not protests. Those were riots, and those were like staged events for chaos, right? Because that's what they want. They had bricks, once again, like 2020. They had bricks on the side of the road for people to do what? To do
mhm.
what? It's like, why is that even there, right? So I wanted to show you what one of my local sheriffs posted on in their little press conference.
So that there's no misunderstanding today, this is a peaceful protest. This is a riot. We can tell the difference. The governor can tell the difference. Our law enforcement officers can tell the difference. In the event you didn't get that, let me show you something. This is a peaceful protest. This is looting. If you loot, the next thing you can try to steal is something off of your food tray at the county jail, because you're going to jail. That's a guarantee. And we're going to enjoy taking you down there. So that there's no...
I love
I
him.
thought that was great, and we love that sheriff. His name is
Grady.
Judd. Yeah, Grady. We love him, and he's just a county over to me.
Yeah.
So I thought that was hilarious. That's why I wanted to put up those videos, because somebody put on that list of cities on X about the riots, somebody put Tampa, and I was like, nothing happened here last night. So I want to show you what it actually looked like in Tampa.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, good point. Good point. Because I was like, that ain't gonna happen in Florida, because Florida don't play. So I want to show you what the riot looked like in Florida, because in my opinion, this is a true protest. But let me know what you guys think.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Justice!
That wasn't a riot.
No, that was a peaceful protest.
Yes, that was a peaceful. Is it so hard, guys? Like, you can do that all over the country. Why are they rioting?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into that clip, because it's got a lot of, and it'll feed into everything else that I have.
Okay, so do you want to start it like just from the beginning, because I have it.
Yeah, just start. It's a 14-minute video. I haven't seen the whole thing, But the information in it that I saw was really good, I thought.
Okay.
So I figured, yeah, let's share it.
All right, everybody. So we're going to have like a mini watch party. This video is on YouTube, and I'll share the link later on after the stream. So if anybody wants to watch it again, or they can share it, I'll put the link.
Erupting in Los Angeles right now aren't just about immigration. What if the real story is far bigger, stretching from the streets of LA all the way to the war-torn fields of Ukraine, and masterminded not in Washington, but in London, to destroy both Russia and the United States? I'm Barbara Boyd, and this is your Monday Brief. If you think these riots are just a repeat of the 2020 George Floyd summer, you're missing the real players and real purpose. Because ever since Donald Trump rode down that escalator in 2015, I've been tracking the forces waging war against him and against us, the American people. I've seen the British hand in the LaRouche prosecutions before, and I see the same playbook operating now. Now, here's the common take. America's chaos is homegrown, a product of our own divisions. But what if the same Anglo-American intelligence networks that staged the 2014 coup in Ukraine are now running a color revolution right here, using our own institutions, media, and street mobs as their weapons? Don't take my word for it. The evidence is hiding in plain sight if you know where to look. Today, I'll expose the British color revolution apparatus, show you how it fits with the LA riots, and lay out exactly what must be done to defeat it. Here's the plan. First, I'll give you a quick but deep dive into the color revolution against Trump from 2015 to now. Second, I'll reveal how this apparatus is functioning in the LA riots. And finally, I'll tell you how we can neuter.
Have you ever heard content creators say,
Oh, great commercials.
And destroy this machine for good? Ready? Let's pull back the curtain. The mainstream media wants you to believe the LA riots are a spontaneous outpouring of anger over immigration arrests in the so-called sanctuary city. They've been using an old script. Bricks, having been previously placed for this purpose, are hurled at cops and their cars, and things go up in flames, and TV pundits and Democrats call it a peaceful protest against the background of a city on fire, just like the summer 2020 George Floyd riots. The difference now is that we have a president and a cabinet firmly in charge behind him, along with an American public ready to learn and fight for the future and, coincidentally, enforce the law. If you look at the players, the funding, and the timing, you'll see a pattern that matches the color revolution playbook used in Ukraine, and since 2016, right here in America against Donald Trump. The goal isn't just to protest Trump's policies, it's to destabilize the country, delegitimize the president, and set the stage for regime change. If you think I'm exaggerating, just wait, I'm going to show you. But what you're about to hear is unique. To get this type of brief regularly, join our email newsletter to keep in touch, to keep up, to be part of our community. The link is in the description. Now, let's go back to the second Obama administration. By then, the British Crown's intelligence services and America's own security state, the CIA, Pentagon, State Department, and associated media, foundations, law firms, and NGOs were inseparably melded together. Biden's CIA director, Bill Burns, and MI6's Richard Moore even bragged about this disgusting mind meld last year at an event sponsored by the Financial Times, the City of London's flagship publication. Here's MI6's Moore describing how they work. We do operations together. We will look at operational opportunities and will sometimes decide who's better placed to go for that operation. We call it the best athlete model. Whoever is best placed to go after that. We try and do that in a non-competitive way, which will get the results for both of us. Ukraine was the ultimate prize for the color revolutionaries of the Obama administration. The country was targeted because of its location, history, and culture. It was to be used to wage war and create regime change in Russia. If the color revolution succeeded and the war achieved its aims, all of Eurasia opens up along with all of its resources and land transportation routes. Russia is the gateway to controlling the entire Eurasian continent, and the British obsession with conquering it has already led to 2 world wars. The 2014 Ukraine coup perfected modern regime change operations after some successes and failures in the Arab Spring. Billions were spent by the U.S. government, George Soros, and the British to fund NGOs, recruit street gangs, and rig elections. All this was coordinated by the National Endowment for Democracy, which has been doing regime change for the CIA since 1987. But the real innovation was what is called full spectrum information warfare, NATO's cognitive warfare campaign, designed not just to influence, but to create new behaviors and beliefs. Complete national offensive propaganda control was imposed. Any dissenting information or derivative views were blacked out, just like we experienced here beginning in 2016. The result? A population whipped into a frenzy, convinced they were fighting a great historical battle against a new Stalin, namely Vladimir Putin. Now, Stalin had murdered their ancestors. Neo-Nazis were now heroes because they heroically fought Stalin. Paid neo-Nazi mobs provided the violence, but the real weapon was psychological, a years-long campaign to manufacture consent for the creation of a warrior vassal state, modeled on Sparta, rather than the sovereign one, which spoke Russian before the coup. After the coup, the CIA and British intelligence ran Ukraine's security services entirely. Vice President Biden, the State Department, and the Atlantic Council ran the rest of the state. Ukraine's new national mission: make forever war with Russia, including now, the terrorist operations the British have undertaken after defeat looms on the battlefield. When Trump walked down that escalator in 2015, the British were already preparing their dirty dossiers. They knew Trump would derail their plans. He refused to hate Putin, refused to play the great game. He wanted to save the United States and not see it absorbed into the modern British Empire, which was their plan. So they launched Russiagate, a hoax cooked up in Britain and executed by British and Ukrainian spies, with the FBI coming late to the game and then, through the Mueller investigation, covering the trail to the real players. Every tactic honed in Ukraine was now deployed against the American people. That includes psychological warfare, media saturation, and, when all else fails, violence. Consider the recent assassination attempts. Wisconsin's Nikita Katsip, who killed his parents while plotting to kill Trump and receiving direction from Ukrainian neo-Nazis. Ryan Roth, who tried to kill Trump in Florida, had spent the previous months recruiting mercenaries for Ukraine. Hundreds of NGOs funded by governments and foundations totally policed speech before Musk bought Twitter and Trump won in November, breaking the spell. But it left millions suffering from what has been called Trump derangement syndrome. And those people with TDS are willing to do anything to stop Trump. Unlike Putin, he is not the new Stalin. Trump, they say, is the new Hitler, a better enemy image more inspiring to deranged Democrats. All the street riots during Trump's first term were bought and paid for by George Soros, the Democracy Alliance, the Ford Foundation, and American oligarchs just like the regime change gangs in Ukraine. If Trump had won in 2020, the so-called Transition Integrity Project was talking about using street rioters and the military to overthrow the government. Their working model, the 2014 Ukraine coup, scaled up for America. Now, let's zoom in on LA. Mayor Karen Bass refused police protection to ICE agents under attack by what appears to be a Retta mob. She encouraged the riots on social media and is outraged that Trump is deploying the military to restore order. Just on cue, Gavin Newsom is suing Trump and says that he provoked the riots. Nonsense. As Michael Schellenberger points out this morning, this psyop is blossoming on very fruitful ideological territory, just like Ukraine. Criminal immigrants in LA are considered to be the oppressed to be fed and succored. Law is enforced for the rich in gated enclaves. The working classes must live with rampant crime, drugs, and mentally ill homeless. Cops are symbol of an evil white power structure. Now, add to that ideological mess. Karen Bass is a color revolution veteran. She was appointed to the National Endowment for Democracy's board in 2014, right after supporting Obama's regime change operations in Libya and Africa. In Congress, she conducted so-called oversight on the NED's operations, what some might call a very big conflict of interest. Of course, 2014 was the NED-coordinated Ukraine coup, which led to the current war. By the time Bass became mayor, she had become NED's vice chair.
Okay. What the hell?
The street-level LA rioters, their signs were made by the Party for Socialism and Liberation, a Marxist group funded by Chicago billionaire and Maoist Neville Roy Singham, now in Shanghai running Chinese information ops. Another major riot gang, the Coalition for Humane Immigration Rights. It was getting six-figure grants from both DHS and California until Trump cut them off from DHS. And don't forget the longtime shock troops against Trump, Antifa, Indivisible, various communists and Maoists, all deployed against Trump since 2017, none of them previously arrested or punished. Now they're joined by Mexican cartels, desperate to protect their slave labor and drug trade from Trump's border policies. Behind the scenes, the Legal Insurrection Network, Mark Elias, Mary McCord, Norm Eisen, are ready to block Trump's use of the National Guard and Marines. They've been preparing for months, waiting for the violent riots to break out. They even talked about this moment back in 2024 to NBC News. So what do we do here? Well, first, Trump is right to deploy the military to stop the immediate violence. But that's just the start. The Justice Department and intelligence community have to widen their focus. Why is the National Endowment for Democracy still funded and shielded from scrutiny? Why is the CIA protected from exposure of its regime change operations abroad and at home? Why do universities and professors who participated in these operations against Trump still receive federal funding? Why do foundations that supported the coup against Trump still enjoy tax exemptions? And most importantly, why do we maintain the so-called special relationship with the British when it has completely corrupted our intelligence community and strategic assessments? It's time to act with a wider lens, expose, defund, and dismantle the entire color revolution and regime change apparatus. Cut off the money, the legal cover, and the foreign influence. That's how we can finally defeat the enemies of our republic. So the next time you see chaos in the streets, don't ask who's holding the sign or lighting the fire. Ask who's writing the checks, who's pulling the strings, and who stands to gain from America's destabilization. The British color revolution playbook, unfortunately, is still alive. It's damaged by Trump's initial moves against AID, the Institute for Peace, the FBI, the universities, and the law firms. But key remnants remain and are being used against us. If we expose the whole apparatus, cut off their funding, and prosecute where it's possible, we can defeat this machine. We have a president who doesn't flinch and who has taken the cup of Gethsemane for us. More of us have to join him in this mission. Now, if you found this briefing valuable, share it with someone you know and ask them to subscribe to Promethean Action.
What'd you think?
Okay. Yeah, great video. But we kind of know this. The problem is that it continues to happen.
Well, the reason I thought it was really good to share that is to lay the framework for what a color revolution is and how it's being used against many nations across the world, or how it has been used, and what they're doing right now here in the United States. But what do we see? That we see the media just focusing on the protesters and what they're doing, calling mostly peaceful, but then they're blaming Trump for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Same thing that they've done throughout history, blame the person in power for what they have already put together. Saw somebody in the comments ask, well, who's paying for this? Well, she just mentioned it, a couple of different organizations, George Soros being one of the main leaders in that. They pay these people to go out and do these riots, but you don't hear about that on the news. And anybody that's paying attention to this stuff, we already know that. And what we've also found out, through her video is, different people in the justice system using lawfare against Trump to block him at every corner. And, we've talked about that on the News Blast. Every week, there's been something about a judge doing this or a judge doing that. So
Exactly.
I pulled this post and it says, federal judges from Chief Justice John Roberts down to Jeb Boasberg absolutely greenlighted what's happening now. By undermining the president's authority, expressing sympathy for illegals, including criminal illegals like Abrego Garcia, accusing the Trump administration of acting illegally, which will show that that's a lie, and pursuing contempt charges, and insisting those here unlawfully are entitled to due process. These judges have empowered illegals to act against the president and all authority, including law enforcement. Hardly a day has gone by since March where Trump DOJ isn't in some federal court somewhere defending deportation policy as radical activist lawyers and political judges work hand in glove to deny the will of the people, remove individuals who are here illegally. Plenty of people to blame for this current chaos, but judges are most responsible.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I believe that.
So
Did
it's just,
Go ahead, sorry.
it's just kind of funny to me how we've been shown over the last 3 months all these corrupt judges. Now we are seeing the product of their corruption.
Right. Yeah. So I'll put the link in the chat just in case anybody wants to join in this conversation, because we're going to be moving to different topics in a minute. But on the subject of the riots, I find it very interesting when the Mexican president said what she said. Did you see what she said?
Yeah, I sent you a voice clip to look that up.
I didn't even listen to the voice clip, but I have a clip of the.
Oh, really? Yeah. Listen to what she said, and imagine if this was Trump telling people in China to do what she's getting ready to say.
Yeah. Okay. So the caption on the tweet says, "Here is the translated version of the Mexican president on the riots in LA."
Because if necessary, we will mobilize, because we do not want taxes on remittances from our compatriots in the United States to Mexico.
So that was one clip.
Play that again and listen to what she said very carefully.
Very
compatriots. Carefully. Yeah, very, very carefully what she said.
Because if necessary, we will mobilize, because we do not want taxes on remittances from our compatriots in the United States to Mexico.
We will mobilize our compatriots to basically do what they're doing. This is the president of Mexico saying, hey, if you're going to continue to tax our remittances, then yeah, we're going to mobilize and we're going to create some chaos. Imagine if Trump was telling that to people of American descent in China, living in China. And for those that don't know, do you know what remittances are, Ruby?
No, what is that?
Okay, so what this is, you have these people that come from other countries. They come here, they work, and they send money back to their home countries.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so that is a remittance. So I think it's in the big beautiful bill. I think it's a 3.5% tax on it right now, but they want to take it up to 5% tax on that money being sent in to other countries. They don't want that to happen because remittances in Mexico are 4% of their GDP. They are making money off of off the American citizens. And so I heard a caller today on another show say, hey, you want to stop this problem? Raise it to 50%. And then they won't be sending money, and they won't be sending money out of our country. So because we always got to follow the money. That's what they'll be missing out on. They'll be missing out on that money coming from America.
Okay, so one more time, because I'm trying to understand what she means by this.
Because if necessary, we will mobilize because we do not want taxes on remittances from our compatriots in the United States to Mexico.
Basically, we're going to mobilize. We're going to riot. That's what she's saying.
So, okay. I'm understanding this in real time. Okay, so give me a minute, because I want to know who she thinks she is. That's number one. Who does she think she is to be saying something like that? Like what is that supposed to mean? Does she not know who we are, who she's talking to? That's number two. Does she know who she's talking to? Like, I wouldn't even talk like that. And I be saying wild stuff on here.
Yeah. And notice how she said our compatriots, or however she put it, are our people.
Yeah.
Our people will mobilize. My friends, my whatever you want to call it, we will mobilize in your country because we don't want taxes on remittance. But that's just another part of the story of why they're rioting. It's not all about the taxes, but that's part of it.
Exactly. Welcome to the stage, Joseph. If you have any comments, go right ahead.
Well, she's like the comments person had made. She's controlled by the cartels. She was put in office by the cartels, and they control the government. And just about every Mexican family that lives in the United States, both either legal or illegal, sends money back to relatives in Mexico. And if they are taxed, she's going to encourage these riots or these color revolutions that we see in our streets now. That's why we saw that young a Mexican guy waving that Mexican flag on top of that car that later burned down. Shows that this is an invasion, and they want to go against this regime or the government of under Donald Trump.
Yeah, and if we remember when we were looking at the scenes at the border during the Biden residency, what did we see crossing the border? What did we mainly see? Did we see a lot of families, or did we see a lot of young men, military aged?
Yeah, that was one problem. And of course the second biggest issue was all those children who they weren't even related, come to find out later. So it was also human trafficking.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
where are
so the connection the connection that I'm making here is those people that cross the border, if they're young military aged men, and now we had said before, I know I've said it many times, that they were foot soldiers for the cartels, for the deep state, and they were just here setting up shop, waiting
Mhm.
for the order to mobilize and start doing their crap. So
Right, right.
that's why we call it an invasion. It has nothing to do with legal immigration and at all.
Right. And let's not forget the Jewish element, because the only reason why she made president was because she has like some Jewish background or something like that. Come to find out she's not even Mexican.
I was going to say, when's the last time you heard a Mexican with the last name Steinbaum?
Exactly. That, I mean, and I remember that from before she was running, because there was weren't there like assassinations on the other people who were actually running for president?
I think so. Yeah. Yes. There was like a slew of them.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere she pops up and she wins.
Hmm.
Okay, so that, you see what I'm saying? Those flags are already flying for me. Then she says stuff like this. I mean, we already saw her bend the knee for the other taxes that Trump was gonna. I already forgot about that one, but they finally bent the knee to Trump about that. So I think, to me, this is just another performance. What she's saying, I think she's saying it just to say it, but I think they know better.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. They might. Yeah. Could be part of following the script, because I always go back to the thing that, people have been so out of the loop and not in tune with what's been going on in this world, that it's going to take people to see some drastic things for them to start asking some questions. And so the question people should be asking right now is, oh my God, we saw riots in 2020. Why are there riots now? What are they? And you can't look to the media for answers and for the truth, because as we've learned before, pretty much everything they tell us is a lie.
Oh yeah. So welcome to the stage, Gail, Gigi. If you have any comments, go right ahead.
Oh, yes, I do. All right. I just want to say that Soros is a huge advocate for immigration. He gives money, facilitates, plans, and organizes these riots on social media. This all was planned way ahead of time.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw those cinder blocks that they have, tons of cinder blocks. And so what they're doing is they're chopping up the blocks, but those cinder blocks cost over $1,000. And they have the pallets of bricks that are wrapped in packing, and they are all broken up so they can toss them at the police. Do you know what's going to happen this Saturday, everybody?
Yep.
There's a
Yes.
big military parade in Washington, D.C., and also in Philadelphia. And there's the No Kings organization, and they're nationwide, and they're going to have a No Kings Day of Defiance on June 14th. They're going to be in 1,800 locations across the United States. So everybody let this sink in. And it's all strategically planned, and they want to disrupt all the parades that are scheduled for the 14th. And it's going to be simultaneously across the United States on June 14th. And so we need to have a show of strength for our adversaries, because that's what Trump's doing, to let people know that we have a strong military. And I think that they're prepared for what's coming. So I just wanted to bring that up. But these organizations, they're not alone, these immigration organizations. And this has been planned. Why do you think Biden and the Democrats let all these millions of people flock in to our country?
Yep.
There's a reason behind it, and it's a very cynical, dangerous reason that this is being done. And Trump has a duty to the American people to keep us safe and to protect us, whether you like him or not. That's his duty as the president of the United States. to protect our country and the citizens. Because they're not just bothering the police, they're attacking passerbys, people driving in their cars. I'm in Massachusetts. They're protesting in Boston. They're spitting in the cops' faces. They're doing it in New York. And that's nothing compared to what's going to happen Saturday. So I just think everybody should be prepared and please stay safe.
Yeah, I think the 14th. I think that's Trump's birthday too.
It is.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. And I didn't even know that. So hold on, because this is I'm processing, right?
Okay, go ahead.
So I understand it, right? Everything's falling into place like peanut butter and jelly. This is the perfect storm for something to pop off, right? And it probably will. But don't we always talk about how sometimes we don't even realize it when we're giving up our rights over safety?
Yes.
So
But that's what the Patriot Act was all about. We had to give up our safety and our freedom
yeah,
of speech.
yeah, you're right. Some elements, right? And then we find out about the plantier element in the big beautiful bill. Now we kind of know what might pop off on the 14th. I kind of see this as another avenue for the big or for the big beautiful and for other ones in the future to come and be presented or passed because of what's happening now.
I
don't
think
know.
we're headed for martial law.
What'd you do?
Exactly, and a lot of people say that.
What's that?
Martial law.
Yeah. See, I'm not even.
If he incites or invokes the Insurrection Act, it could lead to a martial law.
Yeah, so since we're talking about that, let me share the last little bit of information I pulled on this, because the military has, the military has the responsibility to protect the Constitution, and think about the narrative that Hollywood has created for martial law. Think about what they've shown about martial law, about it being just horrible, right? That's what we've all seen. Are we? Can we say that?
Yes.
Yeah, like it was like a controlled state.
Okay, so were they? Let's go back and figure out what we've learned. Were they conditioning us to look at it that way and be fearful of it?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Okay. All right. So when people hear martial law, they think, "Oh my God, the sky's falling and the government's going to take over everything," right?
Right.
Okay, so that's what we've been taught. That's what we've been shown. All right, so let me go here and share this information. This was a post that Donald Trump put out on June 8th, 2:06 p.m. A once great American city, Los Angeles, has been invaded and occupied by illegal aliens and criminals. Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents to try and stop our deportation operations. But these lawless riots only strengthen our resolve. I'll stop right there and look at the wording he's using. He used the word insurrectionist mobs and riots. Okay. I am directing Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, in coordination with all other relevant departments and agencies, to take all such action necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion and put an end to these migrant riots. Order will be restored, the illegals will be expelled, and Los Angeles will be set free. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Then, Observing Consciousness on X posted, Trump just dropped the playbook before heading to Camp David. He's not just talking riots, he's framing LA as occupied territory, laying legal and psychological groundwork to invoke federal war powers. That's why he used the certain words he's using. DHS, DOD, and DOJ are named directly. Interagency coordination's already greenlit. This isn't protest. It's being painted as insurrection. Stage set for COG triggers, continuity of government, Insurrection Act, and domestic military ops under a liberation banner. Camp David isn't vacation. It's the war room. Something's moving. Now, where do we have the legal right to do this, or where does the military have the legal right to do this? You need to look no further than the United States Code. In the context of military law, USC stands for United States Code. The United States Code is a compilation of the general and permanent federal laws of the United States organized by subject matter. Specifically, Title 10 of the USC Code outlines the role of the United States Armed Forces, providing the legal basis for their roles, missions, and organizations. This includes areas such as general military law, including the Uniform Code of Military Justice. The Uniform Code of Military Justice is a federal law that governs the conduct of all members of the armed forces. Organization and structure of the services, like the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Space Force. Personal matters, addressing topics like active duty, active service, and officer classification. Training and education, service and supply, acquisition, other related matters. So when you see a reference like 10 U.S. Code 801, it means you're looking at Title 10 of the United States Code, specifically Section 801, which deals with definitions. So the reason I wanted to say what the United States Code was is because here in Title 10, USC Code 252, use of military and armed forces to enforce federal authority. Whenever the president considers that unlawful obstructions, combinations, or assemblages or rebellion against the authority of the United States make it impractical to enforce the laws of the United States in any state by the ordinary course of judicial proceedings, he may call into federal service such as the militia of any state and use such of the armed forces as he considers necessary to enforce those laws or to suppress the rebellion. So the point being is the media is saying, oh, he has no right to do this. There's no authority for him to do this. He's being a dictator. No, he's following the rule of law. Mm-hmm. Because it gave a specific outline here. It says, when these situations happen, make it impractical to enforce the laws. So what have we seen judges getting away with here lately? How we've seen police officers being told to stand down when these riots and things happen. So it's impractical to enforce the law. And it says, he may call enforce the law by any state and ordinary course of judicial priest. He may call federal. Yeah. So against authority. Yeah, I think that's the point I wanted to make. Yeah. So can't enforce the laws using ordinary judicial proceedings. So when the judicial side collapses, and you're trying to go through that and get the rights back for the people according to the Constitution, if that's not happening, the president has the right to do what he's doing, do what he needs to do. Just like if we go back to the beginning of the show, what George Bush did.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's understandable. I mean, the only point that I was trying to make was that should be the responsibility of the governor. So why isn't the governor doing his job?
He's a corrupt person.
Okay.
He's part of the deep state.
Okay. That's number one. Number two, and this is what I'm struggling with. Okay. If we know that these are manufactured, and that Trump, even though he has the authority, the president has the authority to do, it doesn't matter who the president is, they have the authority, like you just explained. But deep down inside, we know that these are fake and manufactured. How do we know when it becomes too much, too far, like an abuse of power?
Are we not seeing that now?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and then my next question kind of it just follows along the same lines. Like, how do we know when it's real, when it's not? I mean, the violence is real. That's gonna get handled. But then we start seeing more and more bills that take away more and more of our rights over our safety. Like we always talk about this.
Yeah, but what bill have we seen that's being proposed that would do that because of these riots?
So okay, so that would be the next step. That if there was a bill because of the things that are happening, that would be like a no-go for me, because
Yeah,
I can see the slippery slope already happening.
to my knowledge, there's nothing in place. Like the Democrats and the elite, the establishment, they always have laws ready to go, especially like when it comes to gun laws. They have those things already prepared. So then they put off their mass shootings, they put the gun thing in the news, and then they come out, oh, we got this bill.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's my fear.
Yeah, we don't have that with this. What we have with this, in my opinion, is that's where the military comes into play and has to protect, because we've exhausted every other option. The judicial, everybody wanted to throw a fit. No, you can't deport people. You can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. They need due process. And then 2 weeks later, they're rioting in the streets. Now it's time for the military to step in and get rid of them.
Okay, just really quickly coming to the comment section. John Marciano says California governor failed during the fires and now the riots. Yeah, like at what point do we finally say he is what you call it?
Incompetent?
Exactly. Yeah, incompetent to become the governor, that he should step down.
And look, he doesn't take responsibility for anything. If you look throughout history with him, he's always blamed Trump for everything. He blamed Trump for the the reservoirs. He blamed him for that. He blamed him for the fires. When Trump said, hey, you really do need to clean up your forest floors. You need to get rid of all that debris and everything. So he was blaming him for that. So his go-to has always been to blame Trump.
So there's no line where they say, sorry, you're not fit to be governor, you're incompetent, you're not even performing.
If he commits,
that's what Pam Bondi is to decide.
Correct.
And when she makes that the correct decision, then the U.S. Marshals will handcuff him and put him in jail.
And I think there's two ways to look at this. The media will get all upset and crazy. Oh, Trump is arresting a sitting governor. Okay. And they're going after him legally. Didn't you freaking do that for 8 damn years with Trump? Didn't you arrest him, take his picture, put him in court? Right. The precedent's already been set. So that's a nothing burger. And then you have Newsom coming out and saying, oh, he might arrest me and everything. That's kind of the look that they want. They want Trump to come in and arrest him so that they can use their media apparatus to make it look like Trump's being a dictator.
But he should do it regardless of what they think.
Well,
what's going to happen when he gets rid of the mayor Bass out of Los Angeles? That's going to cause a lot of problems too.
Yeah, he will make the necessary move when he needs to make it.
Okay, I hope you're right, because I mean, if I was him, I would have had him out a long time ago. Really quickly, this comment from your daddy. He says, no, it is called checks and balances, Ruby. The governor has the right and duty. When his duty is abdicated, the president has the right to step in.
Correct.
And I get that, but it just proves that he's not doing his job. So why is he even the governor? That's all I'm saying. It's like, why not take him out?
He's the governor because they cheated in elections, and who did they use to cheat in the elections? All the illegals that came into California. They were able to get driver's license. They were able to get free health care. They were made,
Okay.
that's what they used. So they're not only pissed about losing money from the United States taxpayer piggy bank, they're afraid of that. We've seen that with Scheinbaum. Now they're afraid that their voting base is going to disappear, because they know if their voting base disappears, then San Diego might have actually been red. The majority of California probably was red.
Yeah.
Well, they gerrymandered the district so that they could stay in office and make the Republicans and the MAGA people in every voting district smaller than the Democrats.
Exactly. And the thing is, go back to the list of cities to where we said there's going to be some stuff popping off. If you look at the majority of those cities, which political party is governing those cities at the moment? It's mostly Democratic cities. So
go ahead. Sorry.
I was getting ready to say, just so California was the template for what they wanted America to look like. And so they branched out like the globalists do. They branched out to other countries with the Federal Reserve and the central bank system. They do it with this stuff too. So they sent all these illegals to Denver, Colorado, to New York, to other Chicago, and they create the same problems there as they were in California. That's what they wanted America to look like, California.
Oh, wow. Okay. Becky says, Jimmy, have you seen the new laser machine that messes up drones and phones? The machine is remote on ground.
I've heard about it. I haven't seen it in action.
Okay. I didn't hear about that. That's crazy. Kim says, remember the thing called Event 201 where the pandemic was talked about and then came true? Well, Deborah Tavares, a whistleblower, found another was explained in documents like they're planning again.
Oh yeah, they're going to try to do another pandemic, but that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, it's already in the schedule.
Yeah, it's going to fail because the people are not going to fall for it this time.
That's true. Yeah, it's a whole lot.
Okay. Welcome Tony to the chat. He says, good morning, Jimmy, Ruby, and guests. Well, it's 10:55 where I'm at, so good night. Julian says Newsom needs to be recalled. Julian also says, Jimmy, this is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But he's not going to get off. He's going to stay in office because the gerrymandering of the district.
I guess so. Yeah.
Well, and if you have corrupt voter rolls, even if you were to get recalled, they could use the corrupt voter rolls to swing the recall in their favor. So you got to clean that out.
Yeah.
So
signatures.
Yeah. Let's just say a mass deportation operation happens in California and all these people are gone. Then the people can say, all right, you need to be recalled. And they don't have all those people to include in the count. They will be done with if that were the case. That would be an awesome move. And it wouldn't be Trump arresting Newsom or taking him out. It would be the people of California doing it. Trump's just got to clear the way and get rid of the illegals.
Okay, so that's the plan. Julian says, Jimmy, this is where I say it doesn't matter what Trump does wrong or right. They have no logic.
That's true.
It's true.
That's the Trump syndrome.
Oh, okay. I'll put the link again if anybody else wants to join.
You want to do a little video spree? Because I sent you several videos on the DMs.
Okay. Where? Where did you send them?
On X.
Oh, yes. Okay. So let's see.
We need to have a segment where we just go on a real spree. Those are fun.
Okay, hold on. Was it the video from Facebook?
There was I sent you 2 from Facebook, and then I think 3 from that I just reposted to you on X.
All right, so maybe you're new to Q, maybe you're a Q hater, I don't know. But this post right here is going viral. And I just want help in understanding how. How do you predict this back in 2020? 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Check it out. Hegseth puts out a post that says U.S. Marines are going from Camp Pendleton. Okay, cool. Camp Pendleton. Well, let's go down here to post 4414. It says Marine CPSD. That stands for, guess what? Camp Pendleton, San Diego. It says they are being sent to central locations under the disguise of citizen riot control. How? 5 years ago. This was put out on the Q board. How do you... Scripted movie? Time to wake up. Are you awake yet? Love y'all.
Okay,
Thoughts?
Jimmy. So what? I know that he just explained it, but can you tell me what that post meant? Just one more time.
Yeah, I just, with the post, they were always designed to give folks an information and give folks stuff to research and look at. It was also telling us what the White Hat plan was in the best way they could without divulging classified information. So that post was put out in 2020, and it said Marines, activated or mobilized out of CP. We didn't know what CP was back then. No one really knew what that was. I'm sure people found it out. But Camp Pendleton. And we just had Marines mobilized out of Camp Pendleton. So it's just showing that there's been a lot of things that come out on the boards that have come true. They've played right out into this. That's why he said it looks like a script.
Okay. So it doesn't matter the time frame with these types of posts. They just put it out there.
Correct. Yeah, and that's one thing that the people tried. The haters of Q tried to say, well, they put this on a date and it didn't happen. Yeah, we're not going by dates. That's one thing I learned very early in my career as digital soldier was throw dates out the window. Because if you put dates out there, then your enemy's going to know, and then they can counterattack that or whatever.
So it's just like dumping. They're just dumping it out there. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
Correct.
Okay. So the next video that you sent me was about, and this was really interesting too, giving instructions on what to do in a riot.
Yeah, and we see Linda James. Just want to recognize her there. So now before we watch this video, I went through the comments to see if it was an actual real video, and there was some were saying yes it was, others were saying no it wasn't, but Gronk said that it's possible that this could be the case because we have known instructions going out to the rioters. So go ahead.
Okay, so this video was posted June 9th, 2025 at around 8 p.m. So 7:49 p.m. Sorry.
What is all this? What is all this, bro? What to do in a riot? What?
Okay, so do you want me to read what the paper actually says?
Yeah, go ahead for context for folks.
All right. So the title says what to do in a riot. Number 1, turn off your phone. Do not record yourself or other people doing possibly illegal stuff. Even if you're not breaking any laws, the cops can arrest and charge you with stuff just to mess with you, even if they know it won't hold up in court. You can be mistaken as someone else, or you could break a law without meaning to. Number 2, hide your identity. Make sure that as much as of your face and body as possible are covered. Ideally, dress in all black to be hard to identify as possible. Black bloc. If this discretion is required,
Discretion.
and discretion. Okay, I think they spelled it wrong. If
Oh.
discretion is required and you are doing something less risky, you can try to cover yourself while wearing normal looking clothing. 3, prepare for tear gas. Tear gas is effective among unprepared crowds, but can be dealt with. Swimming goggles and a N95 mask will negate 95% of the effects and only cost a few dollars. A balaclava, tights, or other face covering can be worn over this to better obscure your face. If you do not have these items, buy them now. Next time something happens, you will be ready to actually do something instead of just watch on social media. The back of the paper says, don't get caught. Nearly every second of every day, you are carrying around a wiretap that can send everything it hears, sees, or accesses to law enforcement. This applies to phones, computers, home assistants like Alexa, any car with anything that connects to the internet or satellites, and dozens of other devices. Anything a computer knows about, the cops know about. This goes for your personal life as well as any fighting against police. Do not sell drugs or other illegal things over the internet. Don't sell stolen items online. Don't have your phone on you when you commit a crime. It is tracking your location. Don't talk about crimes you have committed. Don't brag about crimes you committed. Don't think you're smart enough that your friends will know, but talking about it, but the FBI won't know. Data can be collected from many more things than your phone or computer. Your bank transactions are one of them. Buy anything that will be used for a crime in cash. Your car may have location tracking on it. Security cameras are very common and many are directly connected to the police. Be cautious and smart. Don't make the police's job easy. If the police if the police catches you, don't say anything besides I want a lawyer. This is literal. Anything you say and can and will be used against you. The police will lie to you. Say the conversation is about your charges or that a friend has snitched on you, who has not. You should not say a single word besides asking for a lawyer until you see one.
What do you think?
I think
That
they already know that, and I think this is something like AI has created.
It's possible.
I believe all these little groups that are doing these protests. It's something like, remember the book studies that we had in people's houses? Well, these groups meet in people's houses privately, and they receive instructions where to go and what to do, and when the bricks and the mass are going to be at certain corners, and be there to pick them up. So it is a well orchestrated and managed insurrection.
Oh yeah, and you can see like the mask. Now we know why they wanted everybody masked up in 2020, because they knew they were going to have riots. And how do you hide people's identity? You got to have a mask. You got to have a reason for them to have on a mask. So
really quickly, just want to welcome Linda to the stage. And if she has any comments, go right ahead.
Hello.
Hey, Linda.
I've been listening to you guys, and I just wanted to mention two things. The first one is, Jimmy, when you said a minute ago, just like when George Bush talked about that recording we first listened to, It's just like today. What I did hear on that recording earlier was that President Bush said that the people called upon him and asked him for the help. That's what the reporting said. In this situation, what I'm hearing from the mayor of Los Angeles and from the governor, they're stating that they did not ask for the help and they requested that he not do it, and he's still doing it. So
okay. I see what you're saying.
So I'm disagreeing on it's just like it's actually that could be the basis of why they're saying he's making it worse.
Okay, I can see what you're saying. I appreciate that. However, during the BLM riots, there were several governors that did ask, Trump then to help out with those. And
I'm not even talking about that rally or that protest.
Okay.
I'm talking about what Bush said in that recording and what's going on today in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm making that point. So there were governors back in the 2020 riots that didn't want no help, but they let their cities burn.
Right.
So with Trump, what he's allowed to do, according to the United States Code and the Constitution, is if a governor fails to protect his citizens, the president, like Bush said, has the right to go in there and do what needs to be done.
Okay, so thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
The second thing I want to bring up is Gigi had mentioned that the intentions of the No Kings protests is to interrupt Trump's birthday. I've been sent information on that protest for the protests, and I have not found anything within the information I've received that would suggest that whatsoever. And I'd be happy to send it to Gigi because maybe I'm missing it. So
go on the nokings.org.
That's where I was at. So I was hoping you could
Well, they're
point it
probably
out.
not going to announce it right now.
Okay, what I'm saying is they sent me stuff so that I can be involved and go to these different locations. But I don't have a car. Let me finish, please.
All right.
I don't have a car. I won't be going to any of them. Okay? But everything I've read so far does not whatsoever suggest to go to locations where Trump is having his birthday celebrations and to intentionally interrupt it. And I'm also saying I could be wrong, and I'd like to send you the information I have so you can point it out to me.
Personally, sorry, Linda.
Well, the other organization besides No Kings is Act Blue. And I got this from, what the heck's the guy's name? I had his, Chuck Hogan. He, on his website, he's the one that brought that up. And he wrote a book called Death of Our Civilization. His name is Chuck Hogan. You can Google him. And that's where I got my information from, was him.
Hogan? Okay.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything saying that these things were going to be happening. These protests were going to be happening to interrupt his birthday. I haven't heard that.
That's where all the protests are going to take place on that map.
Right. And I don't, I have yet to be shown the intention of doing that. So that's what I was asking about.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either, Linda.
I know I said only two, but another thing is when I was reading up on stuff, because now they're in Orange County, meaning ICE, and that's where I live, in Orange County. Okay. So I was reading up on stuff, and from what I read in a certain article is that there's certain counties that Trump has said are what is that? Sanctuary cities. Okay. Santa Ana has always been a sanctuary city, and I believe for quite a long time, Santa Ana has, Los Angeles has. But what's on that list is my city of Huntington Beach. And what's in this article is how the mayor of Huntington Beach is going, yeah, no, that's not the case. And he's been trying to get in touch with whoever he needs to inform them that this city is by no means a sanctuary city.
Oh, wow.
And so My concern is if Trump has decided that my city is a sanctuary city, what's going to happen here? I'm concerned
Well,
because
do you have any illegals in Huntington Beach?
I couldn't tell you who's legal or illegal. All I can say
Okay,
is
so
my experiences.
maybe ICE does.
Well, of course they do.
And go after them.
Hey, Linda, let me help you understand what happened. It's in the
Oh,
comments.
hold on, Gigi. Before you bring up your point, I just want to read about that because I did not know what No Kings was until Gigi mentioned the website, so I pulled it up. I just want to read quickly what they're about. It says about No Kings. On June 14th, Flag Day, President Trump wants tanks in the street and a made-for-TV display of dominance for his birthday. A spectacle meant to look like strength, but real power isn't staged in Washington. It rises up everywhere else. No Kings is a nationwide day of defiance. From city blocks to small towns, from courthouse steps to community parks. We're taking action to reject authoritarianism and show the world what democracy really looks like. We're not gathering to feed his ego. We're building a movement that leaves him behind. The flag doesn't belong to President Trump, it belongs to us. We're not watching history happen, we're making it. On June 14th, we're showing up everywhere he isn't, to say no thrones, no crowns, and no kings.
Thank you, Ruby.
Well, actually, Ruby, you missed the point because on that particular page, if you go back to the very top and then just right below the first page, you'll see the second page, and it has a link there for a call to action for people who want to be part of like a toolkit. Right there. You see where it says, no, right above, you just passed it, right above the country. Right there.
Right here?
Right there. Right up, yeah.
That white section?
That white section. So I was telling Jesse about it. Right above the country map. And so what happens is, George Norrie would always say, there's no such thing as coincidence. Right above the country map. So when you see the map of the country, it's right above it. It talks about the toolkit. There's another person who has a toolkit, if I remember correctly, and it's Jehovah. The governing body would talk about a toolkit. So what happens is, the point is that all of these NGOs, they all speak the same language and they all use the same verbiage. It's not a coincidence. You'll see it on the very, so you can't, when everyone is using the same language, they're part of the same club. But I just wanted to explain to Linda, and I'll leave Linda. What happens is this: if the city has riots, and they cannot control the rioting, the city police, then the county can actually get involved. That's where the sheriff would come in, because the city mayor has been overwhelmed. And then if the county cannot do it, the governor has to step in for the sake of all of the other counties of the state, because cancer spreads and kills the host body. So Gavin Newsom had to kill and squash this riot of burning cars so that it wouldn't go to San Francisco, San Diego, and other things like cancer. So when the governor is derelict of his duty, the Constitution then says the president can do this.
Yes.
And say, so why? Because we have 49 states that do not want to be infected with this cancer. And what you just saw there, what Ruby was showing, is this cancer wants to spread to all 49 states outside of California. So the president is well within his rights to do it.
The cancer is the riots?
Violent riots. And Ruby pointed out earlier the sheriff in Florida showing you peaceful protests like Martin Luther King, right? And violent protests. So whenever you impede the flow of traffic, like in an interstate, it's an interstate transaction of commerce. So by them going out, they don't have a right to impede commerce. So everybody on an interstate highway should be arrested because they are affecting commerce of all 50 states. All of those truck drivers can't do it. So so they have every right to protest, and that's why you pull a permit so the police can protect the people. when we did a protest in New York, in Bethel, we
Mhm.
pulled the permit and we worked with the police department.
I remember that.
So
Yeah,
that's so
2017.
all we're saying, Linda, is don't confuse protests with burning cars. That's riots.
Hello.
Yeah, and
I really can tell the difference.
Yes,
I'm not confusing them at all.
correct.
I'm
But
just
a lot of
stating
people,
that
a lot of our
they-
politician friends can't, and that's the
okay.
problem.
Riots usually have footwear, and protests usually have a bunch of people with their signs, and they're talking amongst each other, maybe fist bumping, and talking about whatever, and they're just moving around, okay? And they might yell some stuff out, but they're not going to be violent. Riots are violent, and
Correct.
set fire and ruin the cities. I really do know the difference. What you guys did at Bethel in 2017 was exactly that, a protest. You didn't set nothing on fire, in spite of the water that they turned on a day that was already raining, okay?
yeah, that's funny.
I have 3 more references for you, Linda. USA Today has an article about it. CBS in Philadelphia, because they're going to be protesting there, and Wichita Eagle in Kansas also put an article today about the No King's Org. So those
And on those articles, it's going to point out that the intention
they're talking about what's going to happen on June 14th and what their agenda is.
Okay. My point that I'm trying to make is I didn't see anything that implies they're going, and that's what I thought I heard you say, that the intent, that they're part of the intention of the No King's Day was to interrupt what Trump has going on. And
Yeah, I haven't seen that at all.
What I've seen is this is a whole alternative thing to do
Didn't
rather
Ruby just
than take
read
part.
that off? Didn't Ruby just read that off? That that's what their intent was, to be defiant?
Well, there intends to be
Yeah.
defiant.
Yes, this is we're not in agreement of some of that stuff, but it also ended with our intention to not be there, to not be involved in that, with what Trump has set up, and it's going to be spectacular. I know it is.
You can watch it at home.
I want to circle back real quick to what we've learned about the color revolution and what they do to, call action against a regime or a government or a president or whatever. This is the playbook that they're using. This no kings thing. This is what they're doing. They're trying to make their case to the people that Trump is an authoritative figure. That's what they're doing. And so the media is going to pick up on it. They are going to be airing it all over the place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's all you're going to see.
Yeah.
And so what have we learned? When the media starts putting something out there and it's wall-to-wall coverage on it, it's propaganda.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think I'm just sick and tired of people talking about California as like it's in frickin' sane. And it's just, there are people that do some shit out here, okay? But it's just not the way I've heard this, you guys talk about California or many other people. And, Orange County specifically is red, okay?
Yeah.
They are red. There's even a saying called behind the red curtain, the orange curtain, like it's very red, okay? So,
I will agree. I will agree with that, Linda. There's a lot of there's a part of me, and I have to look back on the numbers, but where Trump flipped California before it was stolen. It's just the main powers of influence in California, your Sacramento, your LA, your San Francisco, that's where the power's at, the political power. That's what's corrupt.
Right, exactly. So
I just want a little bit more. I think I just need to make the request from this group here. I would just like a little more respect for California, or maybe even value it to some extent.
Well, Trump said it's a beautiful state, that you have the best weather. It is it could be a very thriving state, which it is in many industries.
Mhm.
So
And he
the
owns
only
some.
problem
I'm
with
sorry.
California is this political power in Sacramento.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's the politics that we see are kind of nasty sometimes, but
Yeah,
I
Gavin,
think that that's the easy fix.
Gavin
Well, like
mentioned
Trump,
that he had a
like
phone call with Trump, and then Trump later said that he let Gavin know that he was sending them in, which Gavin denied, even was brought up in their conversation.
do
I'm
you
just
think
telling
Gavin? Do you think Gavin's Linda? Can I ask you a question? Do you think Gavin is upholding the Constitution of the United States?
I'm just here to talk
No.
about what I've heard lately. And because this stuff is going on in Los Angeles, which is my hometown, my home county, and it's happening here in Orange County, I thought I had a few things to share. I don't know all of this stuff about, I don't want to go like a whole lot about it further. People in politics, the higher up you are in politics, the higher you are on the scale of narcissism. Okay? That's very much the same as cult leaders. And, that's something we've come to learn, so I can't say I know everything that the governor here of California is doing and everything he's following. I'm not here to even represent him. I'm just here to say a few things that I've come to know and read about today and saw him talking about. He's like furious with Trump because, again, he like what you said, he has the right to do or the responsibility to do. Gavin's not happy with it. Neither is the mayor of Los Angeles. They pleaded that he would not do that because they were concerned that it was going to make things worse, which is,
Have you ever?
the argument. The argument is that things have become worse.
Have you asked the question on why would Newsom be mad about it?
Well, if I had somebody give me a phone call and then talk to somebody else and claim we discussed something we didn't, and that I was in agreement with something that he said or she said, I would be bothered with that. And if I didn't want, the chain of command kind of thing, if I didn't want somebody to overstep wherever I'm at in the chain and go over my head and decide stuff for me and request for them not to, if they did, after I tried to say, listen, this is our history. We did just fine at these times and these times, and we're doing just fine now. Please don't do that because it can make it worse. And the argument is it has. I'd be bothered.
Okay. Like Gigi said, the governor, he started off on a local level, but the governor has the responsibility to protect the citizens of that state. Can we agree to that? Can we agree to that?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's why he's furious.
Okay. So are the citizens of California being protected under Gavin Newsom right now?
No.
No, Linda. I'm going to talk to Linda. Are the people of California being protected by the governor?
No.
No. So who then should come in and protect the citizens of California?
See, that's the assumption that it wasn't okay. It wasn't going well when Gavin was saying that it was, and that he had things handled. I'm saying that's the argument.
Yeah, well, I personally don't think he's got anything handled. We can see it on TV. We can see what's happening there. And
Nothing,
so something has to be,
nothing? He doesn't have anything handled as the governor? Nothing?
No, I don't believe he does.
Wow. Okay, the grace I've asked for is pretty much useless here.
No, it's not. I think you're asking for grace for California as a whole, and you're including Newsom in that. I don't look at it that way. Yes, there are great people in California. There are people that want to uphold the Constitution in California. But
I didn't get on here to represent Newsom and to be like he's a wonderful character of a man.
Yeah, but I'm just presenting a little argument for that, because there are good people in California, but what Governor Newsom is doing right now is not protecting the people. He's been harming the people. Think about the water reservoirs. He was withholding water. He was withholding water from the farmers and for years until Trump and the military stepped in and got that water flowing again. He was told to protect the forest there, and he failed at his job there.
What little I know about when those fires happened is that they kept burning for days. Okay, and to think that releasing water from up north was going to help any of those fire hydrants function any better, they had their own little storage place that had water in them, and they're basically only equipped to handle one house, maybe two, for each fire hydrant. Okay, by letting that water be brought down, it was being saved for later on for crops. And what happens is in the center of California, it's lower. So water ended up being not even effectively brought down to Southern California because there was a lower area in the center. Like if you could see the whole large thing, it settled more in the center and didn't really get to.
Did you know that
where it was supposed to go?
I was going to ask you.
They already have a system with a whole bunch of, like, if you can picture different straws, they already have a system of the water from up north to go to different areas of California.
Okay. Did you know that Newsom was releasing water from up north and pouring it straight into the ocean and not getting to the people at all?
Do you have anything that can tell me that and what time frame he did that, or why?
Ruby, can you do
it was during the time of the fires?
Ruby, can you do a quick search? Newsom withholds or Newsom dumps water into ocean.
Was that during the time of the fires?
Okay, so Newsom dumps water into the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's check it out. Okay, so the first thing that pops up is 2024 or 2025.
Either one. I mean, what's the headline say? What's it say?
I see. Let me share my screen.
It's a really simple question I'm asking.
What was the question, Linda?
Did this happen during the time of the fires that he took?
I'm not exactly sure. That's what we're getting ready to find out.
For the answer.
Okay, so this one was March 1st, 2024. The title of the Los Angeles Times says California is letting billions of gallons of storm water wash out to sea each year, report finds.
Right. At the end of all those straws, there's a center one that does go into the ocean. That's the way it's set up. It's been that way for years. So if you picture a long, portion of water and straws off to the side to go into different portions of California, the end of that straw goes into the ocean every single day, or however often water gets to the end of that, whatever that's, picturing a straw. It does empty into the ocean.
I think to address your original point about giving some homage to California, yes, we love California. California can be a great state. It's ran by a corrupt, traitorous politician. That's my opinion. That's simple as that. He's got to go.
Okay, so really quickly, Jesse was trying to join the stage, but sorry, your device is not connecting for some reason. So just wanted to let Jesse know about that. I see everybody in the comments, but I do want to move on to the next subject. I know we already talked about this, about the Trump versus Elon fight. Jimmy doesn't believe that it's real. I kind of believe that it is real. And I just wanted to discuss. I don't know if I was ever clear on my personal stance between Elon. I mean, I've always talked in a positive light, right? I said, this is like a billionaire on our side type of thing, right? But I don't think I've actually shared another perspective that I've kind of held. I don't think Elon was ever a Trump supporter. Like most of these people that have kind of switched over. Like, remember when Trump was running and a lot of people were jumping the boat and coming over to our side and kind of acting as if they were on Trump's side and stuff like that. And we kind of talked a little bit about that. Whether or not they're truly changed or truly in agreement with Trump, I don't trust them at all. At all. And I think that Elon was kind of like a long time Democrat that was just probably upset about the party and decided to help Trump instead. But deep down inside, I don't think Elon was ever on our side or Trump's side. Like, I don't believe that at all. So this little fight that they had, I think it was real because Elon has been consistent since day one, right? That's what he was trying to prove on X. He was showing old tweets about Trump talking about the debt and, not raising the ceiling and things like that. And Elon was in agreement from day one. He has always wanted that. That's the whole reason why he made Doge, was so that we can find the fraud, but also so that we can stop the spending and, turn the ship around, kind of. Right? Like, we can all agree on that, whether or not you trust him or not. He was still concerned about the debt and about America, and that's why he created Doge. So now it does look like a backstab when Trump tried to pass this, this big, beautiful bill, when it also talked about increasing the debt, right? I think that was like another disagreement that a lot of people had about the big, beautiful bill. So I think it was real. I think he was being consistent by disagreeing with Trump publicly about that. What do you think, Jimmy?
Your opinion. I mean, like, that's one thing we try to respect. Everybody has their opinion. Oh Lord, I gotta plug my phone up. I'm at 5%, but give me a second. But
Okay.
I mean, I respect your opinion. I can see why people would think that. I just look at it differently.
Well, I don't think it's my opinion, though. I think that's what Elon was trying to say. Like, he was
Well,
trying to show us that he was consistent.
I'm lying.
You fail to understand that Elon runs a large corporation, and he's in charge of it, and he's the king and master of his corporations. But Trump has to deal with the government and all the different peculiarities of dealing with each politician in order to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, the big bill is negotiated among those who either agree with parts of it or don't, and they come up with some type of compromise. So that's how the bill is going to be finally passed by the Senate, and it's going to be compromised. Whereas Elon doesn't, he has the power of being the CEO of 3 large corporations to say anything and people are going to jump. But you can't do that in the federal government.
Hey, Ruby.
Okay. Go ahead, Gigi.
This thing about Elon, this is where
Mhm.
Jimmy's wrong. It was real. And you have to understand that a gay man that we all love, was it Percent, right? Who's the Secretary of the Treasury, whooped his butt. And now Elon is going to go down in American history where a gay man socked him and gave him a black eye. You do not pretend. You do not make this stuff up. Listen, if you and I are going to make something up, I'm not going to let you have a gay person beat me up. And that's going to be part of the, no, it was real. Number one. And good thing that Scott Percent's one tall dude, but anyways, this is, Jesse and I talked about it. What happened with Elon Musk was real simple. It happened in Top Gun. When right before Val Kilmer talks to him, the co-pilot that was fighting with the colonel, he goes, that was some of the best flying I have seen in my life up until the moment you got killed. You never, ever, ever leave your wingman. Donald Trump is the wingman. He is the president. You never, ever leave your wingman. He wanted like Tom Cruise to be the one to shoot down the teacher, like in the movie. But guess what?
Mhm.
Right before he got a chance to kill the teacher, a gay man beat him up. So that's the whole point. Is
Okay,
that
hold on, pause. What do you mean by
Bassett,
that? Because I
well,
haven't heard that.
Bassett gave him a black eye. Bassett gave Elon Musk a black eye.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen
But
with
the
you.
point is real simple. You never leave your wingman. And Elon Musk he wanted to put himself above Marco Rubio. He wanted to put himself above all of the other people that work in the administration. He thought he was number one. And a little bit of humility is in order. And this is the lesson that we all have to learn. That if you were not elected, you are there to serve at the pleasure of the president.
Mhm.
He thought that he could just roam around whenever you want. No, you serve at the pleasure of the president. And your job is to push the agenda forward and get the football on the touchdown. On
Okay,
this one,
so
Jimmy's wrong, because there's
okay.
no way a gay guy is going to give you a black eye and you're going to go down in history of having been beaten up by a gay guy. There's nothing wrong with him being gay. But do you
Okay, but
understand what
some
I'm
people
saying?
say that altercation happened in April and that this is a new incident.
Yeah.
I just read the comments here, and then another person said it came from Steve Bannon, but this is the article that you're
No,
referring
Steve
to.
Bannon wasn't in the Oval Office. It happened inside the Oval Office, and it could have been Marco Rubio. It could have been a couple of other. It could have been the defense secretary. But the point is, Ruby, you
Mhm.
never ever leave your wingman. Military
Mhm.
operation number one. You serve at the pleasure of the president. Elon Musk got a little bit too big for his britches, and he was served humble pie. And that's a lesson to all of us. We all have to understand our place in the universe. And this and what and does that make Elon Musk a bad person? No, he just got humiliated in public. But do we still love him? Absolutely. You know.
Okay, so I'm gonna wait for Jimmy to come back because I do know there are theories about the black eye, and I know that Jimmy can really explain that. So I hope he comes back soon. Let me put the link
Yeah.
just in case.
But Jimmy's wrong. It was real because I'm telling you, Ruby,
Mhm.
you don't pretend to make up a story, and the story is Scott Bassett, is going to beat me up. No, that's humiliating. Right now, Elon Musk in the social circles in the conservative movement, we're laughing at him because he got beat up by a gay guy. It's funny,
Mhm.
but we understand why he got beat up because he was disrespecting the president, and the people that were working with the president put him in his place.
Okay, but okay, so I mean, what's the real? I understand your point, right? But then I'm a little confused because even if he did disagree with Trump, why does that mean that as if he deserves it? Like, he can disagree with Trump all he wants. Even if he was disrespectful, that doesn't mean you hit the guy. Why can't he just leave? Like, be dismissed?
Because there's a problem in Washington, D.C., where everybody thinks that they're the president of the United States. Look at all of those congresswomen everywhere, and men. They all think that they're the president. Everyone is wanting to call the shot. You were not elected by the people. And Stephen Miller, the attorney, reminded everybody, the Constitution has given only one man the right to be elected by the whole populace of the people, and that is the president of the United States. And Elon Musk thought he was the president, and he goes on to say he wouldn't have gotten elected without me. The arrogance of this guy. So he
No,
was,
I do agree. I
yeah.
do agree on that. But what I'm saying is Elon
Mhm.
did something, in my opinion, that's good. He disagreed with Trump
Yes.
and he did it publicly. There's nothing wrong with that.
Correct.
And I do think that he was never really on this side either. Like, I think he was being used and he was okay with being used. But it's like, now their time is up. Nothing lasts forever.
Correct.
Be dismissed. That's it. You don't have to drag each other down for that.
Well, no, this is a classic example of a petulant boy who says, I'm going to go home with my ball. And everyone's playing ball, right? He gets the ball, and because it's his ball, he stops the game. Elon Musk showed lack of respect to all of the men and women in the Republican Party that were working with him. And he didn't get his way, and that's fine. But guess what? He did accomplish a lot, and he should have been happy with that. But his butt kicking was real. And
oh yes.
and
Oh, Jimmy's back.
it was
S-
real. And,
Okay.
and
Sorry.
this thing about calling somebody a pedophile, you know what, Ruby? I can call you names. I can call Jimmy names. But to call and infer that you're a pedophile is way below the belt.
Agreed, and we did mention that last time. Like,
Yes.
I think that was too low.
Yes.
Even for him to say something like that, and I think that was like a fake jab.
Yeah. So that's it. That's my thing on Elon. But I just want to say that. And
All right.
Regardless of if whatever whatever anybody thinks, we have bigger problems to talk about than some type of friction between Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Totally agree with that.
True, but go ahead.
Can I
Gail.
just add? I just want to say, remember that Trump gave him the gold key to Washington, D.C. And this dispute with that gentleman, I forgot what Gilbert said his name was. They were fighting over a disagreement with what was in Doge. He greatly disagreed with Musk, and they fought over that. Now, I think it was staged. Why? Because Elon moved into Mar-a-Lago. They were very close. They went everywhere together. And from what I heard was that Elon was getting threats. They were burning up a lot of his Teslas. They were attacking his companies, and that they did this on purpose so the heat would come off of Elon. This is what I heard. So don't crucify me for saying this. But and another thing, he retracted everything that he said, and it got disproved about what he said about him being with Epstein on the island. So that got disproved. But I think, and we're never going to know the whole truth, but I think that Trump maybe was trying to protect Elon because he was getting a lot of threats. I know you can laugh all you want. He was getting a lot of threats, and a lot of his cars were getting burnt, and his company was being attacked. So, and
No,
now
I was
and
reading
he
the
also
comments.
mentioned having a third party. So I'm wondering if that has a lot to do with it too. So I don't know. That's what I heard.
That shows the separation between the two, and I think all of this is just a psyop between Trump and Elon to get the public talking about it. But it really is no problem at all.
So
It's
Jimmy,
just a psyop.
yes, thank you. Sorry, Joseph. So Jimmy, I was waiting for you to come back because Gigi brought up the fight, right? Then I showed a picture of the black eye, and I know that you know about the conspiracy. Oh, well, the theories behind the black eye and the celebrities or big people in media. So can you explain about that? Because there are people out there that believe that he was a part of this theory because of the black eye.
Yeah, we've seen many Hollywood celebrities and politicians. They show up with a black eye. It is allegedly said that it's because these people weren't cooperating and they got shook down and basically tortured. There's that. That's out there. People know about that. Now, is that something that happened to Elon? Well, we're not sure. But what I did see yesterday, and I should have screenshotted it, but on the cue board, it mentioned a black eye was a marker. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do with Elon. I'd have to listen to the one source that I listens to, and I'll send you a picture of it. So I think there's more at play here. I just don't think it's a simple fight between two guys and their difference of opinions. What Gigi said, it seems plausible. Yeah, his Tesla dealerships were being attacked. What better way to stop that than to say, "Oh, Trump's doing this, blah blah blah, have a fight." We don't see that happening now. They're not attacking Teslas and the dealerships anymore. So that's plausible, in my opinion. So, And then I agree with Joseph in the whole fact that, yeah, there's way more stuff going on to be worried about or to be concerned with or following than Trump Elon fighting. That's why I haven't said much about it.
Okay, just wanted to get your
was
input
cool.
on that. Go ahead, Gail.
Oh no, I said that was cool.
Oh, okay, yeah. So moving on, because I do want to talk about the travel ban. Just wanted to share my screen with you guys, and I spoke to Tony about this a little bit, and she was like, she was kind of on the side of, you see, like, this is what they ultimately want to do. They want to start putting travel bans, and because of the illegal immigration, and then, you know, what happened in Colorado. We talked a little bit about that. So this is the post that that Donald Trump issued a travel ban, restricting entry into the following 12 countries. So there's the list, right? And then I asked my co-pilot, so that's like the chat GPT on my computer. And I said, well, why did Trump put the travel ban? And this is this is what the computer told me. It says that okay, I don't know why it said former President Trump. That was weird. But it says former President Donald Trump implemented a partial travel ban, citing security concerns, primarily Africa and the Middle East. He justified the policy by well, I hope the computer knows that I'm talking about the most recent ban, because I don't think Trump did this before, or did he?
No, he did institute a travel ban during 2020 during COVID.
Okay,
and
so
he
let
got
me be more
attacked.
specific.
And he got attacked for it then.
Okay, let me be more specific. In 2025, let's see. Okay, this is so weird. It says in 2025, former President Donald Trump. That's so weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, like what the heck? All right. So, anyways, it goes on to, you know, say about the terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, which Trump referenced as a reason for tightening entry rules. And then it also said that it was because they have Muslim majority nations, and that it is politically motivated. Where was it that it said? Hold on 1 second.
While you're looking,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, while you're looking for that, I don't have a problem with these travel bans, and the reason why is I'm not in the war room. I'm not getting the daily briefings. I don't know what threats have been that are out there, and they could be coming from these countries. I don't see that information. Trump, he does. So if he thinks there needs to be a travel ban on a country, I'm for it.
Well, take for instance Somalia and Burma. Those are two countries that have no governments at all. And who would want to travel to a country? There's no rule. It's only run by gangs or warlords.
Yeah, and we can look. I mean, there's still people coming. We had the Chinese national that was arrested last week. I think it was up in the Midwest somewhere, Minnesota, Missouri, not Missouri, but one of those states there. She was arrested for bringing in a bioterror weapon.
Yes,
and she was coming from China.
Yep. So this is how it worded it. It said hostile attitudes from certain nations towards the U.S.
Okay.
And I agree. I don't have a problem.
Isn't it for your own safety that he's thinking of by saying don't go to these countries? It's for your safety. He's the president. He has to keep you safe.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, that's why I wanted to kind of bring it up, is because a lot of I guess like Tony's perspective was like, you see, they're using these, you know, what we described as false flags or psyops into, you know, having people agree with these certain travel plans. But I was like, even if that was the case, more countries should be on that list, because you guys already know I'm zero immigration.
Right.
So I'm like, we should have every country on that list until we fix in-house first.
I can't argue with that.
We gotta clean the house first before we open it up to visitors. That's how
Yeah.
I view it. Like, you wouldn't let some people think about it in literal terms. You don't bring visitors over when your house is a mess. You clean up first, and then you invite your guests and you have a banquet or a feast, or you provide hospitality. But how are we supposed to be having or hosting anybody, for that matter, when our own streets, our own people, everything is in shambles?
And think about it, the Olympics are supposed to come to LA in 2028.
Forget about it.
You know?
Forget about it.
We gotta clean that up.
Exactly. And you know damn well that they will not let something like that happen in 2028 when a big event is supposed to happen.
Oh, well, we sorry,
started building houses in paradise.
I don't know if they started building there yet or not. Well, I mean, go real quick to what Ruby just said. Sorry, Jesse. San Francisco, they have a homeless problem. Correct, Linda? Linda, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a huge homeless problem in San Francisco. But when Xi Jinping came to visit San Francisco and meet with Newsom, what did they do? They cleaned up the streets. They removed the homeless from their little homeless camps. So they gave off an appearance that was false.
Right.
And then after Xi Jinping left, guess what? The homeless came back to the streets of San Francisco.
Because they really don't care about them. That's the problem. They don't care about us. They don't really care about us or what the streets look like or what the people look like. The society is already gone because the politicians who are supposed to be taking care of it, they're not doing it.
Correct.
At all. So yeah, that's just one of the things that I wanted to kind of bring up. So I inserted Greta Thunberg in there, and I know we don't really talk much about those types of people. And what I mean by that is that I believe 100% that this girl has been groomed since infancy, or is being paid, or her parents are CIA agents. I don't know what the heck. I don't know how to explain it. But since this woman was a little girl, and my generation, we were all little, seeing another little girl doing what she was doing on TV, it felt weird. Like, legit felt weird to me. I was like, why isn't this girl enjoying her childhood? And it made me think about our own upbringing, how we were forced to put a performance, how we were forced for a presentation, how we were forced to look like we were doing something bigger than ourselves or being a part of something bigger than ourselves. And I felt like that for her too. Like, I don't know.
I agree with that.
So here she goes. I gotta share this clip because I can't believe she's still in the game. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'll just play it.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. I got a cat fight. I got to go check on something. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, if anybody has a comment, go ahead, unmute yourself and tell me what you think about that video. She said that they were kidnapped.
What about the USS Liberty in 1967?
Exactly. We talked about that before.
Attacked the Americans, and it was all hush hush to this very day.
Yeah, and you see how she also uses the word comrades. That was the same language used with the Mexican president. I don't know, but Gigi did say that when they use the same language, they're all part of the same club. And I do believe that because she just said that too.
That's exactly what I picked up on when she was speaking. That was the first thing when she said comrades.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah,
and
she's been a propaganda tool from day one.
yeah, and it feels so weird because it feels like that could be a friend of mine or something. You know what I'm saying? Like we're of the same generation. It feels kind of weird seeing somebody as young as her being used like this. And I don't know. That's just how I kind of feel about it.
It's gotten to the point. It's gotten to the point with her. I don't even pay attention to her no more.
Yeah, but anyways, that kind of blew up after the fight with Trump and Elon, and then now the riots, and now Greta entered the chat. So it's like multiple distractions. Because I did not see this on the bingo card. On the bingo card that she was trying to go over there to distribute some food or something, and then she releases a video like this that they're being kidnapped. If you were really being kidnapped, would they let her record that and post that video? Like, I don't know. That's weird. And I don't think that's the right way to go about it for being like anti-Israel, because I am anti-Israel too. Like that's one of the things I can agree with the left was about the whole Gaza situation.
I'm not in. Never mind.
You know, we are fighting with Israel in Syria right now to create a buffer zone, and nobody's talking about that.
I'm sorry, Linda. Did you say something? I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat it?
I just was like the left, like question mark, and then I just said never mind. Because I found myself going, I don't think I know enough about this conversation to add any more. So I shut up.
Yeah, I just want to make the clarification that when we talk about anti-Israel, we're talking about the government that is running the puppet state of Israel. That's what we're talking about.
As opposed to like anti-Semitic, you're talking more Zionism.
No, I'm talking. Well, the Zionists are the ones running the state of Israel.
Right, the government of Israel, and that's what Greta is supposedly like protesting against. And I've seen lots of people on the Democratic Party, they protest over that, you know, like free Palestine or
we see it in the riots. We see it in the riots in California right now. They got the Palestinian flags and the Mexico flags. So remember when we talked about these rioters, that they are used quite often. You know, one month they have their Palestinian gear, the next month they have their immigration gear, and then the next month they got their BLM gear.
And they had the Ukraine stuff back then
and
too.
They had their Ukraine stuff. So they're all being used.
They are.
It's like a commingled color revolution.
Correct.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to say is that that was one of the things that I agreed on with that side when they were protesting against Israel on the genocide on Palestine. So when those things were happening, that was probably the one time in my life that I could actually communicate with the other side in agreement of something. Like, yeah, I totally agree with you. The state of Israel is wiping them out clean for no reason. I mean, there's lots of women and children that are dying. It's not from what I see. I don't see a lot of young men dying as if it's a war. I see a lot of women and children dying.
Well, the same people that are running the state of Israel. Remember, if we go back to the Khazarian mafia and the Khazarians and what they were doing in Ukraine back in the 1800s, I think it was 1800s, when they were genociding Russian Orthodox Christians.
Exactly. And I've started to learn a little bit more about that. And it's almost like copy and paste. They did the same thing to those people.
Correct.
They basically genocided them.
Yes.
And in modern times, the state of Israel is doing it again.
Correct. And this is why I have always said you have to understand the playbook. They've been using the same playbook this whole time for over 100 years.
Right. And it's kind of sad to see that happening.
Right.
Got a comment here from HM. Welcome to the chat. They said, can someone tell me why everyone is pro-Palestine and anti-Israel? Can't we help both sides and hate on Hamas, who started this whole mess? So do you see the problem with this? I think the problem is that they're using Hamas as an excuse.
Israel and the Mossad, if you look back in history, created Hamas.
Right, just like America created ISIS.
Correct. And so they created Hamas because you had the PLO leader, Yasser Arafat, who was speaking out against the Zionist government of Israel. And they created Hamas to create the chaos and distractions and everything over there. And so eventually they used Hamas to overthrow the Palestinian Authority.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a little color revolution. And then they got rid of Yasser Arafat. And then the terrorists that were created by the state of Israel took over Palestine.
Right. And all of a sudden, Palestinians are bad and they're the good guys. And that's what I have a real problem with, is when you start labeling people and saying, oh, this is my land, not your land. It gets messy. And then they're using October 7th as their 9/11 as an excuse. And there's lots of holes with October 7th.
Oh yeah, tons of holes on that thing.
Yeah,
a lot of holes with 9/11.
Correct.
Exactly.
Same thing.
It's the
Same thing.
inside is copy and paste all over again, which is why I will never agree with it. Like, if it's not rock solid, aside from that, even if it was legitimate, I'm still against it, because I'm real like anti-war. I would not agree with doing something like that when they're practically the same people.
And this is where I think that the deep state, these globalist elites, have corrupted Christians in supporting Israel, because Israel's the chosen people and all that. That ain't. Exactly. This is not even what it's not even what it's about. So you'll have a Christian come out saying, "I support Israel." Really? Do you know what their government does?
Oh, and even worse, they call it Judeo-Christian, which is absurd. First of all, that doesn't even exist. And second is because all of these Christians, they do believe that, oh, this is the Holy Land, and if we want to preserve the Bible or preserve, the God of the Bible, whatever, we have to protect Israel. No, that's not the Israel that the Bible is talking about.
Correct.
We are the new Israel. We are the church. It's us, the people. It's God's chosen people, and it's not the Jews anymore. The Jews are not God's chosen people anymore. The Jews rejected that a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, hello, that's why Jesus died. They killed him. So once again, it's just like, oh, I'm over it. I'm over it. And that's why I am so anti all of it. I'm anti all of it. So did you see, Jimmy, the video of the Colombian presidential candidate that he got sniped?
No.
And I'll show the video. I mean, it doesn't, it's not gruesome, but it does show the moment where this guy is kind of campaigning out in the street and he gets shot. I couldn't even believe it.
In Colombia?
Segundo, salud mental. El principal problema en Bogotá, en Colombia.
Oh wow! I did not see. When did that happen?
The other day.
Yep.
I so missed it.
June 7th. So I guess this guy's running for president. And I think he is right wing.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so he's campaigning there in the street, and there's so many videos like showing different sides of how he got shot. I don't know. I don't even think he survived that one.
I didn't see. When was June 7th? Sunday?
Today's the 11th. So
my days have been running together.
Yeah, sorry. So today's Tuesday, 11.
10 to Sunday.
Monday.
9 for Saturday. It's Thursday.
Last
Yeah,
Thursday?
Thursday or
Okay.
Friday, yeah.
Am I right? Thursday.
Oh my God. The days are just like, they're all together. We do this show, and the next thing I know, okay, all right, we did our show. And then I turn around, it's a week later, we got another show to do.
And that's how I feel. I'm like, didn't I just do this with Jimmy like yesterday?
Yeah.
Let's go by fast.
Yeah, I couldn't believe I saw that.
Wow. I didn't see that.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, it is not safe anymore.
No,
Shaq
world.
Shaq is correct in the chat. CIA operations. Yep.
Yep.
Which is why they should be abolished. I mean, we gotta agree on that one day, because the purpose of the CIA and the FBI, all of them, even the ATF, like, you know how many videos I saw about the ATF and like the Ruby Ridge
oh yeah
thing, the waste stuff, the bomber. Yeah, it's like, why aren't more people talking about the abolition of these things?
I don't know.
That's where we go back to the Constitution. If it's not in the Constitution, it shouldn't be established.
Yes. Well, Trump has to work with what he's got right now.
True.
And then, as time goes on, we'll probably do away with CIA, IRS, and other things.
Yeah.
And strictly go by what our founding fathers wanted us to do. Follow the Constitution.
I believe we're headed that way too.
Okay, moving on really quickly. I have like some videos that I wanted to show you. Jimmy, have you heard about this? Breaking news. TMZ founder Harvey Levin released a video claiming that there was a fifth plane involved in the 9/11.
Oh, I saw that.
Uh-huh.
I
And
saw
that
the whole video.
TMZ is exposing the government cover up. Did you hear about that, Jimmy?
I was scrolling through and I saw that, but I didn't click on it and read the story. So I don't know.
Well, the story that I had read about it was that these planes were controlled by autopilot.
I've heard that too. We've heard so many theories about this one.
Well, I haven't heard this one, so I just want to play it really quickly.
Yeah, play it, because I haven't heard
You
this.
know everything about 9/11? You don't. There was a fifth plane. We have the evidence. The government tried to bury it, but you can see it on YouTube. It's called TMZ Investigates 9/11, the fifth plane. Prepare to be shocked.
Okay, so I guess it's like a teaser.
That was it?
I was going to say, where's more to it?
Yeah, I guess that was a teaser because it's just showing you, clips of that day. So I guess next time I'll let everybody do that kind of like as a homework thingy. Watch that video and then I'll watch it as well. And the next Tuesday you can let me know how you feel about that one.
Yeah, because they interviewed all the airline stewardess, the pilot, and they showed the men that were on that plane. The plane sat there, and they showed these. You knew the guys were from the Middle East, and they showed them, and they were very scary looking. And I think there was like 4 or 5 of them just sitting there. And then the next thing you know, something on the bottom of the plane opened up, and then they left. You gotta watch it. It's wild.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that yet.
Oh yeah, watch it. It's really wild.
Somebody sent it to me.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, I've said that over the years. It's like the more I learn, the less I know.
Okay. I know we used to talk a lot about like Disney movies and things like that. Did you see kind of this one that kind of shows that Disney was portraying drug use in the cartoons?
Oh,
I wouldn't doubt it one bit.
All right, so I want to show this, and I'm watching it live with you guys. So let's let's watch it. First one is Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, wow.
It's like an acid trip for kids.
And Steen says Sleeping Beauty was drugged.
Oh no, not sleep. Oh, brother.
So that was really interesting. I mean, I've never really saw Alice in Wonderland in that way, but I could see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I see the elements and how connections can be made, and even the whole story of Alice is weird. It's
Yeah, it
weird.
was weird. I didn't like it. I couldn't watch it as a kid. Hey, what about Pinocchio? They were trying to allude to Pinocchio being a sexual movie.
But yeah, that 100%. Oh, we take little boys and they don't return as little boys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They ruined my childhood now.
There's a lot of corrupt, evil symbolism in Disney movies.
Yeah, but as little kids, you don't see that until you get
Yeah,
old.
you don't see that. You know, that's how they start manipulating us early. That's why they wanted kids in school when they're 5 and 6 years old, so they could go ahead and start indoctrinating them.
Exactly. Subconsciously, because they don't even know.
Saturday morning cartoons.
You know, it's just like,
Betty
it-
Boop. Remember
it's
Betty
just like
Boop?
it's just like our growing up in the cult. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't know any better, and we just went along with whatever the cult said. And so that's why they get to you early.
Ruby, how many videos do you have?
I was recruited.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I wanted to ask Ruby about how many movies do you have for the kids for Disney? That was the big thing growing up. You bought all the movies, the tapes, so you can watch them over again. Do you have any? No.
My dad bought them all. My dad bought them all.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Joseph.
Yeah, he has them all on VHS.
Well, look at Fantasia. Well, if you really judge it and look at it, it's out there.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yep. So I do have like some other videos, but we're gonna wrap it up now. But I do want to prepare for next Tuesday that I'm gonna be bringing a lot more, like little edgy, more theories that even kind of got me goosebumps because Tony sent me a lot of videos and I don't know, Jimmy, if you've heard these types of, I'll just give you like an idea.
Sure.
One of them was like Tony told me like, where do waterfalls come from?
Trees.
No.
Cut down trees.
Okay, that's the one theory. You see, Jimmy gets it. This is why
I'm on top of everything.
Sometimes I'm afraid to say it because I know it sounds crazy, but then Jimmy just says it, and I'm like, okay, great, oof, like you got that off my chest, like, ooh, okay, I'm not crazy.
This is something new. Okay.
Yeah, she said, where do waterfalls come from? And I'm like, a mountain, like duh.
Yeah.
And then she was like, yeah, but it doesn't rain enough. Like there's not enough water for a waterfall to never stop. Never stop the waterfall. And I'm like, what do you mean? There's, the water cycle. And I gave her like a whole science thing. And she was like, nah, it's just like, it didn't click for her. She was like, I just don't believe that. And then she sent me some clips and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's one of the theories. We'll play those clips next Tuesday. And if you're interested or curious, look it up for yourself because it is super interesting.
I am. Wow.
So what other example do you have? I'll tell you whether I know about it or not.
Okay.
I'm going to hide somewhere.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps. So another clip she shared with me, and a theory of hers was that maybe every Hollywood movie, or Disney / Hollywood, maybe all of them are real, that they're true stories, just presented to us as not real, or cartoon,
Totally
or
agree with
fiction.
that. Totally
Okay,
agree with that.
okay, and I did agree too. I was like, you know what? Yeah, because in my head, I'm like, where else would you get this kind of a story? It must have happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too good to be like not fake. Like, I believe it's true. So she sent me this weird clip about the real Willy Wonka. That Willy
Oh,
Wonka was a real man. Did you know that?
No. Oh,
I have not heard about. I've not heard about that one. Do you have that clip? I'm interested in seeing that now.
Yeah. And okay, let's watch it.
Yeah, because now you got me. I'm curious about this one.
Yeah, this was a little scary.
I think
Okay,
I've heard
so
something about, but it's been a while or whatever. Let's see.
okay, so this was a real man who had a chocolate factory, and what he would do was really, really sinister. So let's watch
Right, lured little kids to it.
it. Mm-hmm.
The real Willy Wonka, and he was pure evil. In the early 1900s, a successful businessman named Tonka Johari owned a highly profitable chocolate factory in Philadelphia. He was known for his greed and stinginess, employing little people as cheap labor, paying them only $2 annually. He also offered factory tours for the cheap price of $300 per person.
Jesus.
Over the years, however, more than 200 people went missing during these tours, never to be seen or heard from again. Despite the mysterious disappearances, Tonka's wealth and the economic power he brought to the city ensured that no one dared to question what was truly happening behind the closed doors of his chocolate factory. That was until 4 friends signed up for a tour, unaware of the dangers that awaited them. From the moment they entered, the friends got a creepy vibe from Tonka. The tour progressed, and the group eventually reached the famous chocolate waterfall. As a joke, one of the friends was dared to push Tonka into the waterfall, and that's exactly what they did. Tonka quickly sank to the bottom. The police were called in an effort to rescue him, but when they pulled him out of the waterfall, Tonka had been transformed into a solid chocolate statue. Emergency workers on the scene tried to break through the chocolate shell to save him, but in the process, the entire statue shattered into a million pieces, bringing an end to the greedy billionaire and his chocolate factory. This man was the real Willy.
Is that true? It's like a horror movie.
Exactly. I was like, what?
Okay, they had me going until they got to the whole. He fell into the chocolate,
Yeah.
and he got into a shell, and they tried to break it open, and it burst into a. What would? Okay, I don't know about that.
Well, who's that Ukrainian guy who's a multi-billionaire by produce? He has a chocolate factory.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so I haven't heard all of that before. Okay, that's interesting.
But if you think about the movie, you see how the kids disappear in each.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And if this guy is really real and he was kidnapping people or kids or whatever, that's creepy. Like, I don't know if it's real.
I hope.
I just wanted to know if you guys heard about it.
No, never.
Well, in the early 1800s, there was no child labor laws. You could do anything with a child.
That's true. That's true,
evil.
Joseph. You're right, Joseph.
Okay, one more.
But then, hold on just a second. But then that goes into the theory of the whole orphan trains back in the late 1800s and the reset, allegedly, the mud floods and the destruction of Tartaria, and they had to repopulate the earth. So they had the World's Fairs where they had the little babies in the incubators, and then you had all the orphan trains. So did they use these kids to repopulate the cities? And was there no child labor laws because they needed people to work in these factories? It's a theory. It's something. That whole storyline is very interesting to look up.
Can we end on a happy note? Anything happy or fun?
Yeah. Okay, so last one.
Something happy.
Okay, so the last
Trump is president. Trump is president.
Oh, boy.
Oh, nice, Space Cowboy. Thank you for joining the chat, letting us know about that. Okay, so the last one, and Jimmy, you might know this. I don't know. She sent me a clip. I can't find it now, but she sent me another clip that described this man that was doing like a documentary or something on the deep ocean. And he was so, I don't know if he reached the bottom or he was just like so under that he found like a lake in the ocean.
Okay.
I've heard about that.
Okay.
Heavy water. That's what that is.
What, Joseph?
It's heavy water. The Germans were looking for that to make a nuclear bomb in the 1930s. In a certain part of the ocean, there is a lake of heavy water. Which
really?
Yes. To produce a nuclear bomb.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Hold on. Then that leads me to question, is that the reason why that we have submarines? Were they looking for this stuff?
Okay, Steen says that there are ancient riverbeds in the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, so but this is the thing. He was doing a documentary, right? And I don't know if it's still out there or what, but it shows you kind of like a clip of what he's talking about, how he discovered this like water in the water, and when they were trying to go through it, he describes like what he saw, like everything was glowing and something like that. So I wanted to know if that was real, and if that documentary does exist, I want to watch it. I want to know what documentary it is. But then she said, guess what happened to him after that documentary?
He died.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
Of course, right? Like what?
Why does that not surprise me?
Exactly.
This is like the guy who produced and directed the movie Eyes Wide Shut.
Stanley Kubrick.
That was based on a true story.
Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut. It's totally a true story.
Based on a true story. Yep.
And that and because of him exposing that side of Hollywood.
Yeah, he died at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's why he was probably unalived.
I agree.
You said it was called Eyes Wide. Well, it sounds familiar. Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, you don't want to watch it.
Tom Cruise movie.
You really don't want to watch it. It's very dark.
Oh, I saw it already. Too late. Too late. I saw it and I was like, no. I was screaming through the whole thing because I was like, I knew he was gonna get caught. I knew it.
I wonder if that broke up their marriage.
And that was the same guy that is, said to have filmed the moon landings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
He did Clockwork Orange, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
That was a crazy movie too.
Well, we've learned a lot tonight. I hope everybody learned a lot tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have great nightmares tonight.
Hey, folks in the chat. So I asked you at the beginning of the show, did you know what a color revolution was? Majority of the folks said no. Did we explain it a little bit better for you guys to be able to understand what a color revolution is and how it is used to exact regime change? Did you guys like that this evening?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a discussion. Yeah. We needed that. Yeah, we all needed that.
So as a recap, Jimmy, in one sentence, what is a color revolution? Just to recap for everybody who's
Are we gonna
still
get quizzed? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna start giving quizzes. We're gonna do a show where it's gonna be quiz night.
Yeah. So
that would be great. We should do that. Test us next week.
Yeah, we done triggered every XJW because now the only thing they can think about is the 6 week the 6 week review or whatever the hell it was. The written review. The written review. Yeah, we're gonna have a quiz. No, so color revolution is when, just to recap, is when the globalist deep state organization wants to overthrow a country.
Okay.
And they do it in a way to where they will manipulate the people to go against the current leader. They will throw propaganda. Oh, he's an authoritative figure. He's this, he's that, blah, 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 blah. And then the people get upset. The people go out to protest. But when the people go out to protest, these same globalist people put their little foot soldiers into the protest. And then the authoritative figure calls in his military, calls in the police to protect the riots from happening. Well, when the foot soldiers end up turning on the police and start fighting with the police, then the police fire back or do whatever they need to do. The military fires back. And then the propaganda machine starts to roll saying, hey, look what your government is doing to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how they start the ball rolling to make regime change in a country without them firing a shot.
Okay, awesome, Jimmy. Thank you so much for that. I like how you kind of put a definition to everything, because there's a lot of those things like we've seen that happen. We just didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, we just don't know it.
They display their colors, like the Mexican flag, like the Muslims have their garb. We have Antifa all dressed in black. They all have their different colors and slogans, and they're all commingled together in this big protest against Trump.
What trips me out is watching some of these riots and all these people that no hablo inglés. They can't speak English, but they're holding up an English sign.
Yep, they're being.
Does that make sense to anybody?
Yes, it did. Because when I worked in the weatherization program, a lot of people would say that to me because I would ask them for their income. And actually, one man from Russia filed a complaint against me. And then when you would question them, I don't speak English. And I said, well, who filled out the application?
Yep.
And they didn't know what to say. So I got in trouble for that one.
Wow.
Yeah. I worked with a lot of foreigners that were on weatherization, and a lot of people. I had to go in their homes and do intakes, and some of them had beautiful furniture, but I'm not a cop. I couldn't say anything, but what are you gonna do? They lied and cheated on their applications.
I couldn't help but laugh at one of the comments I just saw. It was Steen said, I liked it when I was ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel you. There's times, and I've even posted it on my Facebook page. I was like, damn, there's some things I know that I just wish I didn't know. But it's important for us to know that's because we've been, all this stuff has been hidden from us.
Yeah.
And because it's been hidden from us, they've been able to get away with their system for so long. Now that it's coming to light and people are learning about it, we can recognize the evil that's being played over and over. We understand the playbook. And like anything else, if you're in sports, if you get a hold of the team's other playbook, then you can create plays to counter that. So what you're seeing here in America, you're seeing a deep state insurgency. And what Trump, Patriots, the people, we are the ones creating the counter insurgency. So this whole thing is, like I said, I've been saying it for a while. It's bigger than people can possibly imagine.
Yes. And there's a lot of theories out there that like Jimmy mentioned, Gilgamesh, like those are
there's that.
We haven't even touched the surface with those
Oh
theories.
yeah. We haven't.
So
do what, Gigi?
What are they?
Okay. I'll just put this out as a teaser for what I know about this, and you guys can go look it up for yourselves.
Excuse me.
And it is actually in government document. I think it was. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm correct. I think it was an email. I think it came out in WikiLeaks, and it was an email that Hillary Clinton sent out to somebody. I can't remember who she sent it out to, but the whole war in Afghanistan. No. I'm sorry.
Iraq.
Thank you. The whole war in Iraq was because they were saying the Saddam had found the tomb of Gilgamesh, which had a portal.
Wow.
We haven't even gotten there yet. I'm sure my trolls are just waiting to see what I say next. And that the United States military was sent into Iraq to take control of that portal.
Wow.
Right.
And, and Hillary Clinton had said something about it in an email, which was in WikiLeaks and fact, true.
Which proves that there's some truth to it, which it has always been a theory forever.
Right.
And also like the ruins of Babylon. Like there's lots of like artifacts or whatever you want to call it that they have it and we're trying to get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And those wars are just massive.
The Sumerian, the Sumer people, the Akkadians, the Chaldeans.
Stargate. Sorry. Steen was, Stargate. That's what I was looking for. Stargate, not a portal.
Okay.
Stargate. Well, and that might be a portal, I guess. I don't know.
It is a portal.
Okay. Yeah.
That's crazy. So I want to do more. I want to do more videos like that and show more of that because Tony and I were in the same conversation that we're talking about all this stuff about the tree stumps, the waterfalls and everything. I was telling her, like my oldest son, he does like this virtual school and he has like a Bible class. And it was talking about the Garden of Eden, being around modern day Ethiopia. And we talked about that in like the Ethiopian Bible and things like that. Like, why isn't that considered the Bible or whatever? Like the origins of Christianity in the Garden of Eden, right? And then she told me about the black hole in the ocean, and they wanna pass through there to see what's over there.
Right.
And then she was saying, "Did you know that there's a theory out there that people believe that the Garden of Eden was actually in Antarctica?" And I was like, "What? That doesn't even make any sense." So I'm gonna have to do research on what she meant by that.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one yet.
No, me neither.
I heard that the Garden of Eden theory is that it was somewhere in Florida because of the gopher wood. Gopher wood. Just look it up real quick. Where can you find gopher wood? And I'll explain a little bit more. Look that up, Ruby. See where it says.
You find gopher wood. Okay, let's see. Where can
Well, I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you very much for the show.
All right. Good
You're welcome,
night.
Dee. Thanks for being on, dear.
Thanks. I'll quiz us next week.
Yes.
I'll do my homework. Good night, both of you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Gigi.
Good night.
Good night, Gigi.
Pleasure.
Good week. Be careful on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, it says gopher. Oh, sorry. Oh, there she goes. Okay, it says. Sorry, Joseph. Go ahead.
I was ending on a happy note for Gigi, and I said, Trump is president.
Yeah. Okay, so it says gopher wood, which is mentioned in the Bible as the material used to build Noah's Ark, is a hardwood. Okay, you can find it in lumberyards, sawmills. Okay. Additionally, Florida torreya, also known as stinking cedar or gopher wood, is an endangered tree native to a small region in the southeastern United States.
So, how did Noah get gopher wood? I don't know. Why are there Egyptian hieroglyphic paintings
in the Grand Canyon?
In the Grand Canyon.
Okay, right? Okay, so we're talking about this, right? And I'm telling her, isn't it weird how all of these points are guiding us to Ethiopia? And I was like, what if the Garden of Eden still exists and it's there? We just don't know about it. Or maybe it's in the earth, like not hollow earth or maybe black hole portals. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I think it's hidden somewhere, which is why we can't go to certain places, like how we talked about Antarctica.
Yeah. These are all interesting topics to talk about.
Right?
Yeah, the Stargate.
And there's a lot of people out there that just, that, oh my God, they're just being crazy. But hey, these are, we're just having conversations here. We're just throwing things out and talking about it. We're not saying it's all real or not, but
right.
there are questions.
Exactly. It's very interesting. But did you see the movie Noah? I told you about this a long time ago. Did you see it?
I actually have not seen that movie. I need to watch it.
You have to see it.
I really need to watch it.
The one with Russell Crowe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one, yeah.
You did? Okay, so
Nephilims were rocks.
Yeah, weren't there giant rock people in there?
Well, those were the fallen angels. So if anybody, I'm not going to spoil it. If anybody hasn't seen it, watch it first. And next Tuesday, I'm going to play that clip because it has a lot of spoilers in it. So Jimmy, watch that movie.
Okay, I'll need to watch it.
Yeah, watch it soon because I want to play that clip, which it explains lots more theories that, I can't get into it without spoiling it. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to watch it first and then come back to me because it kind of explains the whole creationism from the beginning all the way up until Noah's time. And then that's when the movie kind of starts. It's about Noah.
I love the whole Anunnaki, Sumerian stuff, and that stuff just interests the crap out of me.
Me too.
Tablets.
It's very interesting.
Okay, so I will leave that as the next homework. So the two pieces of homework was the fifth plane in 9/11, and the next piece is watch the movie Noah and come back to us for the conspiracy hour. And I just want to thank everybody for joining. To Gigi, Gail, Jesse tried but couldn't hop on with us. To Joseph, who else? So Linda was here. Who else was here? Was anybody else here? I think that was it.
And I'd love to see more people joining the stage. There's some of you been watching us for a while. Hey, come on stage with us. And I would like to see that if you guys feel comfortable.
Me too. The more the merrier.
And I did see a lot of new people in the chat, so that was pretty cool. A lot of new users were kind of in the chat, so at least it's getting out there. Other people are watching and kind of understanding how we groove over here, I guess. You can sometimes I put the link in the description and sometimes I pin it on my page so it's easier for people to just jump on. But yeah, we encourage everybody from all political backgrounds to join. In the beginning, the first 2 hours is news and politics, but then the last 2 hours we kind of get off the rails and we talk about a lot of, and I do have a lot of videos that I want to show you about that tree stump theory.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to me. And I'm sorry, before we go, and I think you know this, Jimmy, already, right? About the petrified giants as rocks.
Yeah, I know about those. Yeah.
That's crazy. I just saw a clip that Tony showed me about mountains and rocks, that those are not rocks.
Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
Correct. I've seen those.
That's creepy.
And like the things that they call like Devil's Tower, they say those are rock formations when they look like tree stumps. That there were giant trees.
Okay, what about that the trees, that water comes out the trees? Have you seen that there was like this tree that water has been coming out of it since like 1990 something?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And the theory about that is that that's what happened after the flood, that the trees and the earth kind of like drunk all that water, so that there's water under the ground.
Yeah, because it said that they cut the trees down so the giants wouldn't escape, and so by cutting the trees, and water comes from the trees, then that would create a flood. That's out there.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm gonna play that clip next Tuesday because this really gets me. Like I got goosebumps. I was like, oof, this is scary.
And then you look at Jack and the Beanstalk cutting down the beanstalk. So you got that, and then you have Avatar, especially the second one where they cut the tree of life down. And isn't it somewhere in the Bible where it says there was a tall tree that could be seen by everybody? Is that in there? I want to think there's something in there that says something about that.
Yeah, the Mormons actually believe that.
I thought there was something in the Bible that said this tree has been viewed by. What are you laughing at?
No, that Joseph said the Mormons actually believe that.
Yeah,
about the tree.
I don't know. It seems like there was somewhere in the Bible that said the tree was seen by everybody or some crap like that. I could be wrong.
Oh, Steen says Nebuchadnezzar and the tree. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look into that because that's interesting. All right. Yeah, sorry guys. I keep bringing stuff up, so sorry. I'm like prolonging the show for no reason. All right, so thank you everybody once again. Everybody in the chat. Thank you to Jimmy and everybody who joined the show. Next Tuesday is gonna be super interesting. So be here 9 p.m. next Tuesday. You already know the deal. The link will be in the description. Join early so that we can get everything. I mean, we did start early. We didn't, and I wasn't even expecting that either. So yeah, there was like enough time to kind of have everybody come in here. All right, Jimmy, thank you so much once again. Already
thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you so much.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in and share the video. We thank you for your support. Thank you so much. And we're all here just to learn and try to make sense of what's going on in this world.
Yeah, before we die.
Yeah. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Gigi said we want to end on a happy note. And again, and I'll stand by it, that we're seeing all this stuff right now to educate us so that we learn what has been used against us. If we know how to fight it, if we can recognize it, we can defeat it. And I do believe that there are a lot of good times ahead of us all. We just got to go through this little period of darkness, but we're going to be all right. I do believe we're going to be all right.
Yes. All right. Thank you guys. And yes, Steen, I will let you know when those arrive. It still hasn't arrived. I'm kind of shocked that those coins took this long to get here, but it's all right. I'll check my post office really soon. All right. Good night, everybody. See you soon.
Trump, yeah, okay, bury him a legend, yeah, Trump, hey, okay, America's biggest blessing, free speech advocate, packing, never lacking it, I just bought another gun and ain't nobody taking it, gang, okay, the White House going crazy now, MAGA season, tell them liberals they can't break us down, it's up, they know we run it, best believe it now, about to paint the city red, please don't burn it down, gang, MAGA gang, MAGA gang.